Whoa, hello. I'm deaf in one ear. I have a splitting headache. I'm drinking milk coffee, which you're not supposed to do when you're podcasting because it makes your saliva sicky. And I am ready to stream for 3 hours today because we got some shit to talk about that's been pretty entertaining. I hope everyone is doing fantastic. I hope everyone's head is more well put together than mine at this precise moment. There are going to be some people listening to this who have no idea what has transpired in the last weekend, and are going to be excited to hear it. A lot of you have already encountered what's happened and are already looking forward to the end of the stream. So without further ado, I will say this. I am sorry to the people because this is the first stream back on YouTube. Hello to all the fucking losers who only watch my stream when it's convenient to them and they cannot do anything outside of their comfort zone to enjoy Men at the Internet. I understand it's very difficult to not have, your YouTube app on your phone or whatever the fuck to listen to these to. It's very difficult to find something else, but I have no choice. I have to try to make peace with... Oh, you did it. I was gonna say, why is there like a saw blade sound effect from fucking from The Ring in my playing? Well, okay, God, that threw me off really hard. So my plan with the chat thing, because right now we had 2 chats before, and now we have 1, which is YouTube, which is not going to make anybody on the other platforms, which I'm trying to actually support, feel good about participating in the alternative platforms because their chats on the stream. I can't make 3 chats. That would just be fucking ridiculous. So I intend, after this stream, I have 4 projects. I'm sorry, I did not get Pride Before Fall up in Pride Month. I will eventually do it, but now it's not a priority. I have my DDoS protection thing that I'm working on because the Kiwi farms will be returning to ClearNet sooner rather than later. And I'm going to need that, as it turns out. I had a big breakthrough with that. Some C devs reached out. One guy went way out of his way and did a lot of work on it. And now it's in a position where I can start finishing it. And then once that's done, what I would like to do is write a program that is a headless browser, which just scrape, because here's the thing about YouTube, there's no like unified chat thing that ever shows up on people's streams except for the one from Restream, and the Restream multi-chat sucks ass because almost all your activity is going to be on YouTube, but YouTube performs the worst on that. They use an API. The API has a minimum polling time of 1 second, so the YouTube chats all come in 1 second at a time, which doesn't sound like much, but when something happens and it's not real time, it just shoves all the other chat messages out of the way and nobody's shit gets read. So it's awful. The only way to do it is to do it behind Google's back, get a headless browser in that scrapes the chat messages. And I would like to make something that can scrape multiple chats at once and create a unified feed, and that would be a really popular tool for a lot of streamers right now because nobody wants to stream only on YouTube. Literally no one on this planet wants to be a slave to Neil Mohan and Alphabet Inc. Everybody is looking for their way out of the monopoly that is YouTube. So if you are a Rust developer and you're interested in writing, or I was going to say help me write, but at this point I don't write anything. I just ask people for help and I steal their work. If you're a Rust developer and you want to write a headless unified chat system, go ahead, shoot me an email. I'm going to start that at some point. So that's that. Let's get right into the news. I'm going to do a quick roundup of some things that have happened. The first big one, I don't even have a thing for. A guy in South Korea facing a disciplinary hearing for misbehaving, for beezing in the military, has fled the United States. Well, he's fled South Korea, technically. He fled South Korea to North Korea. So now this guy was about to be given a dishonorable discharge because he got into a fight or something in South Korea. And he decided, fuck it, I'm defecting to North Korea. So he just ran across the border and now he's in custody and nobody knows what's happened to him. So that's your first update. We have American soldiers defecting to the enemy rogue state of North Korea. Oof. Ah, geez. Not looking too good for Uncle Sam. Executed. He's either just going to be like tortured to death like everybody else, or they're going to make him like a state hero. He's going to get on national television and be like, ho ho, American is awful to work for. In America, we are not giving any food and we are forced to eat rats. we're forced to give our women to Mexicans and black people in order to keep our jobs in the United States. We're forced to give our firstborn sons to a Jewish god known as Moloch so that they may be sexually mutilated and forced into female roles in the United States. It's really terrible. You don't want to go there. You want to stay nice and safe in North Korea. He's going to be forced to tell all these terrible lies about the United States in order to stay alive. It's going to be awful. It's going to be a propaganda war. Hello, YouTube, by the way. I love Israel and the Jewish people, and everything I say with love. So, next up, extremist-friendly tech company closes after fines for security fraud. They're talking about LBRY. This is like the biggest the way that journalists write their headlines makes me literally sick to my fucking stomach, knowing how much like institutional power fucking retards like this have in the main, like the narrative. All LBRY was a video sharing platform, and that somehow made it like extremist friendly because it's cryptocurrency and streaming that's done on YouTube or Twitch. My fucking god, it might as well be digital Satan. There with a swastika shaped pitchfork stabbing minorities in the ass forever and ever, as digital Satan would. But what happened with that is that LBRY was supposed to be a completely independent cryptocurrency blockchain that did video sharing content, and they were sued by the SEC for being a security and not for being a commodity, which most cryptocurrencies are. There's very, very legal technical distinctions between the two. But in general, the more centrally organized a cryptocurrency is, the more likely it is to be considered a security and not a cryptocurrency commodity. So after a while, the SEC did find that LBRY was a security. It was defunct. They were originally going to be hit with $21 million in fines. However, at the time of the judgment, LBRY was already basically bankrupt. The token had crashed into literal nothingness. And as a result, the fines were reduced to $100,000 because that's what the judge deemed they could take from them at that point. LBRY has said that what happens to LBRY is now up to the public. There will be no more LBRY Incorporated. And in case you're wondering, the original LBRY interface was converted to Odyssey, and I really don't know. It's like a mess how Odyssey distinguishes itself from LBRY, but the gist is that LBRY is now Odyssey, and I guess LBRY token is no more. So I really don't know what they're doing over there. It's basically just another. It was supposed to be a cryptocurrency blockchain backed video site, but now it's not. It's just another alt site. And for whatever reason, they want to pick fights with fucking Rumble and make people, I guess, have to take sides between Rumble and Odyssey. And considering that Odyssey is currently being sued by the federal government, I guess, and by extension of LBRY, and Rumble is publicly traded and paying people millions of dollars just to stream on their fucking platform, I have a feeling that is a fight that they're going to lose. So there's that. Where did that fucking notification come from? Where do I have? Oh, Ralph finished his live stream. I'm now subscribed to the Ralph and Mail Telegram channel. Can you even believe it? Okay, I will have to mute that for the purposes of going on air. Another notification has come out. Disable sound. Okay. Oh, he just restarted it. Okay, that's why it dinged twice. Okay, where was I? Okay, so this is another Louis Rossmann story. He has done a video about how the fees of payment networks has escalated. Payment networks, if you're listening to if you're like a little kid that somehow found this stream on the front page of YouTube for some reason, payment processors are the devil. So payment networks are just basically four companies. You have Amex, Visa, Discover, and MasterCard. Visa card and MasterCard occupy 90% of the entire market. 90% of all transactions that occur, debit or credit, in the United States go through Visa card and MasterCard. It is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. and they basically control the entire world economy through their valves. And to try and protest that they don't control the entire economy, there are many little companies that process the payments for them, because they don't actually do any direct business. They handle it through companies called payment processors. And these companies basically take orders from MasterCard, Visa Card, and keep everything completely anonymous. You can't sue them. You can't sue MasterCard, Visa Card. And they charge fees. So despite having a critical role in exchanging money, like if I were to go to a store and give them cash, there would be no fees in doing that. If I were to swipe a card, immediately there's like 5% of that money is lost on the customer, or on the business. The business just loses money to the fact that you're using your card. However, if a refund happened, usually there's a full refund. In fact, they even get back the processing fee. Very fair. They've changed that. Now, if you try to refund a purchase, the business is actually out of their money. The 3% of whatever, or 3 to 5% of whatever that you're being refunded on, they just lose. So now small businesses are not inclined to give refunds, which makes them less competitive in the market against massive corporations like Amazon, which have the expenses because they're pumped up by the government directly through their contracts, to have a competitive edge over more small businesses directly through the payment mechanism itself. And 3% doesn't sound like a lot. It is a lot. You have, say you do $100,000 of business, 3% of that is, as an e-commerce site, at least 3% of that, usually more, is lost directly to the payment processor. That's $3,000 taxed by the fucking payment mechanism that underpins our economy. And then you take away federal taxes, local taxes, manufacturing expenses, and it's like you don't make any money. And it all adds up very slowly. So payment processors are evil. I've always been a huge proponent of cryptocurrencies for many reasons. This is one of them. And hopefully, I mean, like I said, I really think that payment processors are just trying to be as evil as possible now, because their industry is about to die. And it's all intentionally set up so that the Federal Reserve can swoop in as a hero. Jerome Powell can swoop in with a cape and say, I've invented FedNow. It's bank-to-bank transfers like the EU has had for 20 fucking years now. And there's no expense to it. You can just do it, and nobody can say you can't do it. We get to see every single transaction that happens because it's a Federal Reserve business, but in exchange for your privacy, you can exchange money like a normal fucking person again. You don't have to deal with MasterCard and Visa Card. And everyone, including me, is going to be like, thank you, base Federal Reserve. I love you so much. You're such a fucking hero. I love you. And we're one step closer to the Antichrist. I really feel like this is like a thing that's been set up deliberately so that the Federal Reserve can make this thing and bypass huge obstacles to try and enforce. Because like when they reduced the IRS reporting expenses, like when you did transfers, it had to be $10,000 to report to the IRS. Then it's $600. And soon with FedNow, it'll be $0. And I bet you'll see a lot of businesses switching to FedNow very quickly once it's out and commercially available to people. So thank you, Antichrist. I appreciate your innovations in technology that have been available in the EU and in the form of IBAN transfers for literally 20 years now. Okay, so this is a news story. I will sum it up. A woman named Gannon Stausch, a Colorado Springs, the boy's name is Gannon Stausch, but the influencer, Zav Girl, who is like a true crime podcaster, and I mean, I don't know. I hate both. This is, again, like the journalists are just fucking terrible in the way that they frame things. YouTuber apologizes after selling access to autopsy photos of 11-year-old murder victim Gannon Stausch. So, and this guy he decided, the rule in articles and news is that when you publish it, you have to copy the headline directly as it is, but the subtitle, you can make whatever the fuck you want. So he decided to interpret this story as being a woman decided to sell child pornography on Patreon, because his autopsy photos were on a true crime Patreon. And it makes it sound like she's in, the Discord, the CD Discords, talking to the boy hungry pedophiles like, yeah, I got the good stuff. I've got autopsy photos. And then people are like stock photo of like the guy holding out hand, like puts a couple $100 on the hand. He's like, wait, wiggling the fingers. Give me more. I got the good autopsy photos that you're looking for. And she keeps adding more and more money into her hand, like that kind of thing. But the reality is a little bit more tame. She just does true crime, and the autopsy photos and stuff that she can't show on YouTube, she just posts on Patreon. So it wasn't like a special thing where you have to pay extra just to see the dead little boy. It's just like something that she did. And then of course this comes out, it is, I'm not going to defend the act. I think that maybe you should let, the dead little boy not be posted on the internet like that. But at the same time, the amount of backlash that she's received and like personal threats against her is extremely disproportionate. Just take down the fucking post and apologize for it. The people are acting like she's some soulless monster peddling child pornography on the dark web, and it's like it's a bit much. You can denounce something without lying about it. That's something that people don't like to do. They like to sensationalize and say like, oh, this is just selling child pornography. So that's that. Another one, Snow White is now Snow Black. Disney misheard the lyrics, whose skin was white as snow, and decided, she's just really pale skinned. She's just a really pale skinned black woman. And then for whatever reason, they replaced the dwarves, who I guess they decided it was offensive, with mystical creatures or magical creatures. Magical creatures are apparently black people and one ginger and one midget. There is still a midget. Maybe that's Stumpy or Shorty or whatever the fuck. I'm sure one of them had a name like that. And then you have the CEO. So you have a CEO. I don't know what he's supposed to be. He's tall. He's lengthy. It's so stupid. I really wonder, because I read somewhere that Disney had lost, like, in their last couple of releases in like the last year or two, I want to say the cumulative total of their loss exceeds $1 billion. And I'm like, is there like a tax fraud thing happening? What the fuck are they doing this for? Because nobody sees these shitty movies and they keep pumping it out. Is it like, are they making their money back in ESG? Their parks are fucking empty. They're not making, nobody's traveling to Florida to go to Disney World in the middle of a fucking recession. Like, what are they doing? Democrat kickbacks, ESG. A lot of people say ESG. Someone says tax fraud and laundering. Hollywood accounting. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just like you have these people, these executives. Maybe there's some kind of like little club, maybe they have some sort of identifier that they can, identify themselves, like maybe some kind of hat that they wear. But they're just like in a little club together, and like we've seized control of this multi-billion-dollar company. I think it was over $1 trillion at some point. How do we like pilfer it as much as possible? Like, we'll just pump out the shittiest fucking movies ever made. We'll pay ourselves more money than you can possibly imagine. We'll double the budget of the film by the marketing budget, and then we'll also select our own marketing companies and pay ourselves twice that way. And when we bankrupt the company and are outed as board members, we'll have a severance pay of also, $100 million each. And we'll just make unfathomable amounts of money, and we'll never even have to give a fuck, because who cares? It's not our company. We didn't make it. We didn't invest any love or energy into any of the intellectual properties that we raped to shit out these movies. We'll just bankrupt it and make off like kings. You know what I mean? Maybe that's it. I think I'm onto something. Is right on the nose. Right on the nose. I like that. That's a good one. I feel like I'm close. So there's that. My site's not fucking working. What a surprise. Maybe I can refresh it. Now it works. Oh, hee hee. This amazing Chinese site that I've heard of. So, okay, I did hear about this. So, get this. Discord has made a well-requested feature. Went live with it. They've added parental controls to Discord. So now you can keep track of what little Timmy and little Susie are doing on the child predator app known as Discord. Owned by Tencent. Completely unencrypted in case, I feel like I shouldn't have like a list of things that I mention. Like if I ever mention, I'm going to mention that fucking that Peach woman that keeps getting like on, what's her name? Pearl Davis, not Peach, the ginger that keeps the ugly ginger. Like when I mention her, I have to mention that she was blacked. If I mention Ian Miles Chong, I have to mention that he flashbanged and killed a dog because he swatted somebody. I might have to have like a list of things that I always remember to append something to. And my Discord appendage will be, and if I ever mention Discord on a stream and I don't mention it, make sure you correct me in chat. Make sure you tell people. Everything in Discord is unencrypted. Your private messages are just two-person rooms that are unencrypted. These conversations are stored on Tencent servers for all eternity. Their terms of service say that they can record what you say. They can run it through machine learning. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it. I think they can even sell it. They don't even say that they won't sell it. They can do whatever they want to everything that they say, and it's unencrypted. And so they've only recently added parental controls, and I guess it's because Discord's, public perception is now so abysmal and so associated with child grooming that they felt like they had to do something, otherwise they wouldn't give a shit. But of course there is some kickback to this on the fine mental cathedral that is Reddit, and here are some comments provided saying, hey, it shouldn't need to be said, but when you are banned for discrimination, but you will be banned for discrimination, so please think about what you say before you hit send. Please report anything that breaks the rules. It helps us catch bad faith comments a bit faster. Thanks. Vance Ellen says, this feature is worse than useless. It is actively harmful. The vast, overwhelming majority of minors being abused are done so by their closest relatives. This feature doesn't protect anyone. If anything, it empowers the number one group of abusers to be even more controlling and abusive. OP is right. This is hell for minors, including LGBTQIAP plus ones who need external support because of abusive parents. The kind of parent who wants this feature is the kind of parent who shouldn't have it. Dino Hawaii 2021 says, the whole family center would be harmful in general. I get the points parents can check phones, but this gives them 24/7 access to other info other than messages. Jack Luke says, y'all just like finding ways to be pissed off. To which Nito Baram corrects and says, or have actual real life experiences different from the rainbows and sunshine your family was. Bask in your privilege more, please. Helpful Lemon 4848 says, yes, because letting kids roam servers full of potential predators is definitely considered freedom. Gotta love the modern world. Go back to Twitter. Celestrogen says, as an LG, I love that it has Celeste and then estrogen. That's an awesome portmanteau in his name. As an LGBTQIAP plus teenager who is scared of their parents finding out, I just made a new account. So he's hiding the fact that he's shroomed out from his parents. This kid was too late for this feature. This feature needed to roll out 2 years ago to save this kid from their predators. It's Ryan says, Lamau, I love this is the perfect thing Discord has ever done. Or I say this is the perfect thing Discord has ever done. Lumina Kiwi, oh hello fellow Kiwi. The OP is acting like LGBTQIAP plus support servers have to become almost an underground railroad to protect children. Captain Look says there shouldn't be for children at all. The LGB is about sexual preference and shouldn't be a discussion with minors where there are more likely adults in the server. The TQIAP plus shouldn't be attached to the community because it has everything to do with the identity, where LGB is about biology. Okay, whatever. So they're talking about that. Xbox was a mistake, says groomers on Suicide Watch. Downvote every reasonable comment. LOL. Allerator says, of course, Discord users on Reddit would be upset they're making it harder to groom kids. Smiley face or frowny face. The Punisher says, if your immediate concern about this is it's harmful to LGBTQIP plus teens on our server, you might be the target demographic this feature is built against. Do I support parental controls like this, which basically negate every ounce of privacy to overbearing parents? No. But the help of stopping potential grooming of minors greatly outweighs the bad of overbearing parents. There you go. The groomers are upset. And this was just someone reposting the statistics, because Discord now has like transparency reports about who they're banning, and I think this graph shows that the overwhelming majority of their bans are for child pornography. Child safety, 37,000 bans. Exploitative and unsolicited content, 16,000 bans. And then you have some other bullshit. Regulated or illegal activity. That must be like drugs. So yeah, you have about over 50,000 accounts banned in last year, I'd imagine. Cool. And then 1,000 of those are strictly reactive, which means that they saw child pornography being posted when they banned it. All right. And that's that. The other haven, child grooming and LGBTQIP plus underground railroads, TikTok has developed something new and innovative in the field of depravity. NPC fetish. This is a thing. I will show you a clip of someone being an NPC, but the gist is very simply that a woman is streaming herself and she acts like a glitchy robot, and when someone super chats her money and says like behave this way, she accepts the programming and behaves that way. And this is now a hot new thing. This woman has like tens, like I think thousands and thousands of viewers tipping her any given chance, and it has attracted the attention of OG retards to participate. Here is our friend of the show, Trisha Paytas, doing up an NPC. Get ready. You have a couple more seconds to get ready. This one is loading. I thought I had preloaded it. However, I am full of shit. I did not preload it. So your ability to embrace for impact is provided.
Hi, Rhea. Hot dog. Hi, Justin.
If it's not gonna stream, why is it so fucking slow? Give me a second. Give me a second here. I desire to make you all suffer, and I really thought this was going to download at less than shit speed. 128 kilobits per second. That is. I remember when I played RuneScape on in like 2005, and I had like 128 kilobit per second connection. No excuse, chat. Okay, now we can watch this beautiful content.
Hi, Rhea. Hot dog. Hi, Justin. Hi, Justin. Hi, Justin. Hi, Justin. Hi, Justin. Dribble, 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 dribble. Rose sounds so good. Look at my muscle. Ice cream. Peaches, 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 peaches. Hi, Rhea.
So you get it? You tip them with the sticker. There's 5,000 people watching this, by the way. You tip them with the sticker. You pay money to send them a sticker. And she has to react, kind of like Simon Says. Jocelyn gives a hand wave, just say, hi, Jocelyn. And Jocelyn can do that as many times as she wants. And Trisha Paytas will have to react. So there are multiple women on TikTok doing this now. It is apparently a sexual thing. Because like if you tip the hot dog, she has to like fillet the air or something, and that's where we're at. That's where society is at now. I hope you are satisfied. I hope you're happy. I really don't know what to say about this. It's so bizarre that it's like almost unfucking believable that it's the thing. Okay, this one's a bit long. I'll take a break. I've been and do some reading. Pump the brakes a little bit. Read us a feel-good story. This is a feel-good story from RM to F. Throw RA trans PIV. Sexual frustration and regret after surgery tagged venting. From I think yesterday. Okay. Let's read a little bit. Let's quite a bit long, but I'll see how far I can get into it before it loses interest. I just keep replaying in my mind the events leading up to getting bottom surgery and panicking as I get farther and farther post-op with no way to change my decision. I cannot believe it was already last year and it'll just keep getting more and more distant. I'd always wanted a vagina, but I took it for granted the functionality and intimacy of my penis. I thought not being able to even look at or cuddle or look at it or cuddle naked was a sign, and thought my vulva vagina would need all I needed to be satisfied, but it just wasn't the case. Sex is more of a chore than anything fun. I used to enjoy sex pre-op, so why the fuck did I take it for granted? Because I've ruined my fucking life. Obviously, I've had more reasons than just sex to want bottom surgery, but I wish I prioritized sex more now because it's been devastating, and the good parts don't matter as much anymore. Ew. I never even liked stimulating the head of my penis. I don't know why I thought the clit would be any better. It's just uncomfortable and gives me the urge to touch the shaft instead. But it's all I have. I miss the ability to jerk off the shaft. That wasn't even something I like to do pre-op, but I have such an insane urge to wrap my hand around my dick and actually have a pleasurable sensitive area on my body like a real sexual being, to feel anything a whole person capable of feeling pleasure anymore. I miss being able to actually want to feel anything around my genitals and to keep getting urges to touch places that don't even exist anymore, instead of sadly grinding against a vibrator for minimal pleasure and just any sense of relief. I cannot believe I had genitals that worked okay enough for sex, and I sacrificed it for my medium dysphoria and euphoria that lasted all of a couple months. So he doesn't even have dysphoria anymore because he cut off his cock and balls. I can't look at myself naked. I cannot be sexually intimate with my partner. It makes it hard to see my body and my genitals as anything capable of sex. I feel more like a messed up dick by the day. Even when I can orgasm, I'm not satisfied. It's so weak. I feel like I need more. It just hurts to keep going. The vaginal section I always dreamed of isn't good enough to even bother going through all the effort. I've lost my urge to use it. Wow, who would have thought? You know, a lot of them complain that the holes don't even have any sense. It's just like a scar tissue, so it doesn't have any nerve endings anymore. I want to feel like a human being again. I haven't slept well in the past couple months. I keep having panic attacks about how I've ruined my life and replaying my thoughts up until my surgery. Therapy and psych meds only go so far. Why did I take my functional body for granted and just assume it was going to work out? I feel like I was so cocky. That's a bad choice of words. I hope I get more sensitivity back, but at this point it feels like even if I did, my brain would be telling me I need a dick right again when I always felt so wrong before. I could cope with bulges in clothes or not being naked or awkward erections, but I can't cope with losing my entire ability to enjoy sex forever like this. This person's saying they're not going to do bottom surgery anymore because of this post. That sucks. They need to all do it. I agree with the what do you guys, the Ayatollah, the leader of Iran? He says that if you want to be a woman, you have to get the bottom surgery. I agree with him. I agree that everyone who wants the bottom surgery, who wasn't, we can't let them groom kids, but any adult, especially anyone over 30, if they want to get bottom surgery, they should get it. We should pay for it even. We should just pay for it. Here, chop off your dick, retard. Very based. This is kind of related, so I read this as a part of the super chat, but this guy right here in the Neon Shroom Dungeon is a Bethesda or ZeniMax employee who worked on the Elder Scrolls Online. You want to know why the Elder Scrolls Online sucks? It's because this guy worked for him. When Bethesda hired him, he was a man. He had some engineering experience at General Motors, or not engineering, but 3D modeling experience at General Motors. They hired him. And then at some point recently, he tuned out. In his mind, he had this great thing about how he was going to tune himself out. He was going to reveal himself to the company. Like I imagine, you know, like in, have you ever seen the video from Team Fortress 2, Meet the Medic, where the medic walks out and there's these god rays and the pigeons are flying, or they're doves technically, and they have like all his branches and shit. He thought in his head, that's how his coming out party would be. It would be like, oh my God, I can't believe that, you know, Chad Thundercock is now actually Sissy Bottom Bitch. Wow, what a transformation. He really is a woman now. That's what he had in his head. Unfortunately, he came out to his upper management first, and they're in fucking panic mode. So they immediately try to convert all of like his profile picture to like a girl picture or whatever the fuck, and change his name in all their systems. And he's freaking out because his coming out reveal was ruined. He had it in his head, and the management beat him to it. And he frames this as upper management outed me. They outed me, and they told everyone I was transgender before I was ready. And I was ready would be like 2 days after the fact, and Slack in a way that nobody could avoid noticing. You know what I mean? Then he went on to complain that Bethesda was actively trying to hurt his ability to work because he has login information with the company, which is like, you know, Chad Thundercock. That's his username and everything. Bethesda's internal systems, because, you know, Bethesda is Bethesda, and they have, you know, their internal systems that are probably not too flexible. They can't change the username. So now that Sissy Bottom Bitch wants to log in, he still has to type in for his username, Chad Thundercock. And he says that this is triggering. This is mentally debilitating, and it hinders his ability to work because he has to log in with his old name still. This is literally what he said. This is a 4-hour long video. I'm paraphrasing for you. Then he still works for Bethesda. They basically demoted him from mid-level to an associate, and they transferred him under somebody who volunteered to work with him, basically. So that he's super aggressive. He loves trannies. He loves tranny dick, and he'll love to work with a tranny. So Bethesda was like, okay, fine, perfect. You can handle him. And he says now that they've demoted him and moved him under this guy's management, everything's fine. He says that the guy is very attentive, very okay with him being trans. He doesn't feel prejudiced against it at all, which makes you wonder why he's deciding to cry about how he was treated, considering they have identified someone willing to work with him, and by his own admission is willing to work with him very well. So the problem seems solved, but no, he's very angry. And in particular, he wants this real woman who has a very weird name that I can't pronounce. It's like Ephemeral or something. It's like you have to just take my fucking word on it. Her name is like Ephemeral or some shit. And he's talking to this woman, and the woman, you can tell, I think she's recording it, and she's trying to be very sensitive. And every single time he says anything, she tries to be like, you know, like accommodating, and it just doesn't happen. Like the guy blows up at her and tries to, what do you mean by that? Like he says, so they're talking about how management changed his profile picture and name before he was ready to come out, quote unquote. So he comes out and he says, you know, he's yelling at her. Well, not yelling, but he's like annoyed and talking to her. And she says, well, I was just trying to solve the problem. And then the dude turns around and says, oh, so my transitioning is a problem to you. And it's like, she's trying to make you happy, you fuckhead. But she used the wrong word. Oh no. So now, like Jim Sterling took this too and made a video about how evil Bethesda is because of their horrific abusive behavior towards this tranny, and use that as evidence that she said there was a problem, as if the fucking phone call was not a problem. And then they're saying that she ended up having to give because I think she was his boss, she gave a performance review and said he was terrible. Like for every category, he gave her gave him a 1. She gave him a 1, and which is the lowest score possible. Said that he was not communicative, he was abrasive, he didn't work well, his performance and output was poor. And he said this is also transphobia because his performance was fine before he transitioned. And Jim Sterling complained about this and said, this is such a reoccurring trend in the industry. Someone's performance is just fine until they transition, and then suddenly they're not good at their job anymore. It's like, yeah, no shit. I bet you if you take anybody who works a normal job and you cook them up on SSRIs and pump them full of hormones and get them so addicted to pornography that they're going to cut off their dick as a result, if you take anybody and do that to them, their work output is going to suck. Their attitude is going to suck. They're going to be a depressive sloth who can't get any fucking thing done and blows up at any slight real or imagined, right? And so he secretly recorded all his phone calls with Bethesda, made this 4-hour long video, and is trying to cause as many problems for them as possible while keeping his job there, because he right now still works at Bethesda. And this is his big play, right? This is his big card about how evil they are. You ready? Bethesda tried to take his necessary life-saving gender-affirming care and use it as a cudgel to blackmail him into resigning. You can take up your bow and your violin, and you can play some sad notes for him, like I am, and you can cry a fucking river, because what that means, translated into English, is that Bethesda said, we would like you to resign. Your performance review was very poor, and if you resign, we will pay for your bottom surgery. Literally, we want you to cut your dick off. We will pay for your bullshit surgeries if you get the fuck out of my office and don't come back. And he refused this ultimatum, and instead took all his recorded calls, his secret phone calls with management, and published them to YouTube, to the shock and horror of the gaming community, and James Stefani Sterling in particular, who has ran the story as his Monday episode. I'm actually curious what the view count is. 25,000 views 2 weeks ago. Ah, geez. Bethesda is shaking in their boots. I'm sure. Actually, hold up. Let's just do a little investigative reporting here. You ready? Hold up. Let me close this real quick. Okay, so geez. It's not looking good for Bethesda. I searched Starfield. That's their new game that's coming out. That has 42,000 views, 8,000. That's it. 3,000, 7,000, 1,000. Oh, this trailer has 127,000. But James Stefani Sterling's video mentioning that Bethesda is evil has 100,000 views in a day. Look, we got Thoughts talking about it. We got Blacks talking about it. 65,000 for saying stop defending this. Oh, dude, the black community has turned their back on Starfield. I wanted to play this, by the way. I know you guys love Jim Sterling content. Like 2 years ago, I want to say, Jim Sterling did this thing. He says that this is his favorite skit of all time. It's the best thing. Literally, this is not a hyperbole. He says that this is the best thing he's ever done, ever. It was a meme. It got put on Tinor or whatever, and now people use it on Twitter as like a reaction thing. He says that this is by far his magnum opium, as I like to say. What the fuck is it? No, this is just wrestling shit. That's just bullshit. Bullshit. Complaining about Hogwarts again. Aha. This right here. This is the best thing he's ever done. His own admission.
You know what it is. Oh my, yes.
It's the fuck Bethesda dance. That's right, Chad. You all knew it was coming. Internet famous. I'm gonna play all of it. Huh. Okay, so if you're only listening, it's a very imagine this: a very fat man standing behind a podium in steampunk or whatever with fake lobster crab claws, and it just says very benign shit like Bethesda did video games bad. Bethesda is no good. Bethesda games are not good. Like that kind of shit. And he calls this the fuck Bethesda dance. It's like his favorite thing. He played it in a bunch of his clips when he was ranting about Fallout 76. It apparently was shared on Twitter at least one time. And it is his favorite thing that he has ever done. And so he played this to epically own Bethesda once again in defense of trans rights, because trans rights are human rights, he says. There's a reason why. There's a reason why I played this. I wasn't just going to say that. I like this. This really typifies Jimbo for me. I like that. I'll play it on quiet so you don't have to listen to it. But I really like how he's so fucking lazy that he couldn't redo this shitty, lazy video in a drag. He just didn't even bother. This is the fuck Bethesda dance. I'm doing it one time 2 years ago. I'm going to replay it whenever I need to, and I'm never going to reattempt this. No one could ever match this perfection a second time. It's like, this is not the greatest song in the world. This is only a tribute. He pulled off this amazing escapade as a fluke, and even though he's not a woman in this, he's not dressed as a woman in this, he'll never be able to try it again. So no point even bothering. Just replay the clip. So yeah, there you go. There's that. I don't know. I've never even heard of Starfield, but now I've heard of Starfield because of this Jimquisition, and now I like space games. I like RPGs. Is this a new space RPG for me to play in? Is this going to be a good game? Probably not. Probably not, because they got trannies working on it. It probably sucks. I bet you there's a tranny character you can't avoid. Todd Slop. Oh geez, Todd Slop is the worst of all slops. Play No Man's Sky. I have played No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is pretty fun. I just didn't. I don't know. I just felt like I don't want to get into a video game review, but the No Man's Sky thing just kept going. Like, go here, do this. Go here, do this. Go here, do this, over and over again. It's like I kind of want to get to the point where I have a big ship and shit. I was disappointed by the space combat. Maybe that's good now, though. Okay, so the sport committee that governs cycling for women's events has officially banned troons. Male-bodied individuals are no longer permitted to attend any major cycling events that the committee oversees. I believe that also includes the Olympics. So, the golem, the tide of transgenderism is really the straw that broke the camel's back. People are really done with this. We don't want to see troons in women's sports. We don't want to see troons on beer cans. We don't want to see troons in video games. And any company that dares step a fucking toe out of line and put this shit in our stuff, people are just done with it. And I'm very happy to see that. Everyone wants to be a negative Nancy black pillar. Like, oh, the world's fucked, man. World's small hats, man. It's game over, man. Game over. No, the normies see the light slowly but surely. Have faith, my children. And this, by the way, this is posted in a thread about someone named Dr. Rachel McKinnon, who is a person I do not follow. Very, very, very popular thread on the forum on Stink And the context here is that McKinnon was a part of the British Columbia. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with British Columbia. Canada as a whole is just a shithole, but British Columbia seems like the biggest fucking shithole. And I'm sure like the capital or whatever is worse, but British Columbia has all these fucking retards in it, and one of them is Rachel McKinnon, who is on the British Columbia. Here's what happened with this. I remember this. So he's a troon. He ran for the board of like there's like a 7-member panel that leads the British Columbia women's cycling or something, and he ran to sit on the board. He lost. I think they had 2 seats come up, and then they had like 4 seats come up and 7 candidates. Despite that small pool, Rachel McKinnon lost and was not promoted to the board of directors. Then one of the directors that was elected stepped down or resigned or something. So they had they didn't have another election. They just voted amongst themselves. And then Rachel McKinnon was selected undemocratically to sit on the board. And then at some point retired or resigned. Oh, you know what it is? The British Columbia. Okay, here's what I think. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that what happened is that Rachel McKinnon's board, the British Columbia cycling group, was under this World Women's Cycling Group. And so when they put in that policy that women are male-bodied people are not allowed to participate in women's sports, women's cycling, that included the division that he sat on the board of. So they removed him from the board because he's not allowed to participate, or he resigned in like a fit of rage or something, but he was ousted. So the farm is not okay. Look, I'll tell you this, the mirror, listen closely. Okay, if you go to Google and you type in Sneed, you may see a search term that has no meaning. It's like, what does that mean? To sneed today, as opposed to sneeding yesterday, as opposed to sneeding tomorrow. What does that mean? I don't understand. If that the site has been peaceful, it's true. Fuck you. If you can't figure it out, you don't deserve to know. Basically, is what I'm saying here. This is McKinnon crying. Fuck the UCI, he says as he resigns. I hope the UCI is ready for the smoke that's coming on the heels of Bigard's new trans ban. Oh, I read that completely wrong. Bigoted Bigard's new trans ban. It's time to race to try and stop me. This isn't makeup, motherfuckers. It's war paint. Yes, please, trannies, say violent and things. Be crazy. Do crime. I compel you. And that is the Troon Roundup for this stream. Coming in at just under an hour. Perfect timing. I only have a minor amount of general, what they call LOL COWs for this stream. However, one event in particular will pick up the slack. So I mentioned last stream that Boogie had adopted a plastic child to be his new girlfriend. He says, my one and only tweet about my age. She's an adult. She's 20. I'm older. But look at me, man. I'm fat and old and ugly as sin. When an adult woman I can get along with wants to give it a shot, I'm going to do the smart thing and give it a shot. If you can't handle that, please tell your therapist. If you don't know, by the way, women who put animal print on their skin and or clothes are prostitutes. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but I'm sorry to all the women who are listening who might have that cute animal print thing in their closet, but you don't wear it because you would look like a prostitute in it. Boogie is paying for this person. Like, there's no other way around it. There's no way to be nice about this. That is a bought and paid for piece of meat. He says this is his one and only tweet about her age. That is a lie because he has tweeted about it continuously. She is 20 and I know people will judge, but look at me, man. I'm fat and ugly. When an adult woman says, let's give it a shot, I should probably be willing to hear her out regardless of her age, as long as she's an adult. So thankfully Boogie there coasting along in the pits, the abyss, the loneliness, the abject misery of being a lonely, old, fat, stupid man who doesn't know anything. So stupid and ugly and tired and old. But then one woman out of the 3.5, I think even more now, might be 4 billion women on this planet out there saw him coasting along in the depths by himself and said, I can fix him. And she reached out a hand, and it just so happened to be a 20-year-old prostitute. It just worked out that way. Who is he to look a gift horse in the mouth, especially when it's got big old gums like that? No, he's gonna accept the serendipity of this occasion for what it is, and people can judge him, but he knows that this was the only one, and he just has to take it as it comes. Life finds a way, basically. JRS1 replies saying, it's worse you said that you have been texting her back and forth, talking through your trauma, etc. Like, what age was she when you first started DMing? 18? Boogie says she was 19. She's almost 21 now, so she's known her for 2 years. Have been seeing her on occasion for 2 years now before they decided to make it official. He says, we are both adult children. Someone says, bro, you got to ask yourself where she is mentally or emotionally. And Boogie replies saying, we're both adult children who spend our days playing video games and watching Steven Universe reruns. So it's like, don't worry that she's mentally underdeveloped. So am I. That's a funny thing. There's another group of people out there who really say that they're young at heart. They really, like, people grill them like, how could you be like this? How could you do the things you do? And they're like, well, I've always been like a kid at heart. And that excuse always works. When those people say that, it's like, duh. They're just a kid in an adult body. Duh. Obviously. It makes sense now. That was a great one. That's a great card to pull. That always works. ChatGPT says she's a child, which is a bit over. I mean, she's not a child. She's an adult. There's the age difference is creepy, but that's like the fucking autopsy photos. Like there is a real truthful thing here, and you're lying about it. Boogie says she's old enough to die for Uncle Sam at almost 21. She's old enough to eat chicken nuggets with me. She's almost old enough to drink even. Oh my God. You guys can have some wine with your steak when you go out for dinners. Zolan says, how did you guys meet? What did you guys have in common? Boogie says she wrote me on Insta. We talked about our trauma in the past. Both were doing therapy around that time and both worked to heal ourselves. We found out we were on the same path together, and one day she said she had feelings. We decided to explore that. Now here we are. It's a love story. What does a 48-year-old man have in common with a 21-year-old girl? Boogie says video games, TV shows, music, and love of animals. Most importantly, we both survived a shitload of trauma and came out grateful and happy after it. Strange Parker says, not surprised I'm getting pedo vibes from Boogie now. Rock bottom really doesn't have limits, it seems. Boogie says, it's crazy when people tell on themselves like that. I am literally dating an adult in her 20s and they think so much about diddling kids they find a way to break it up. That is a fucking cope. Boogie in that line almost makes me think that he is a fucking pedophile, because that's the same shit that like May the fucking Horus people said lolicon is obviously little girls, and you're watching fucking little girls getting raped, and you can say it's just a drawing, but it's obvious what it is. And then she turns it around and tries and goes, oh, it's so obviously just a drawing. If you're thinking of raping kids, that's like on your that's your mind, buddy. Like, come on now. It's literally word for word what you said. Oh, fuck it. Just when you got a problem and leave the adults out of it, my man. El Topo Yio says she's in it for the money, nothing else here. And Boogie says, what money? Didn't you see I lost it all in crypto? I have a feeling that Boogie has a couple dimes to shake out of him. And if you're lucky, if you're really lucky, they might be pre-1962 dimes. And that's when you have a great day. And that is your Boogie update. He's currently, oh wait, there is no more. Get out of here, hamster. Get the fuck out of here. Come back at the end of the stream. You've overstayed your welcome, hamster. So that's the Boogie update. He's coping and sneezing and pulling out the very tired fucking tropes about, what was it? He's mentally a child, and if you think about child molestation, then if you care about kids, then you're the real pedophile, bucko. Like, can you pull any more retard tropes out of your retard trope bag, Boogie? Apologize. I'm not never apologize. He'll come back. Don't worry about it. He needs a break. And okay, this is a compelling update. Quasi, who I believe is the admin of the Opie and Anthony forum, which is now mostly dedicated to trolling the fuck out of Patrick S. Tomlinson, has filed a request to hold Tomlinson in contempt of court. So the technical term is affidavit in support of motion for contempt. So only the court can hold someone in contempt of court, but Quasi's lawyer has filed an affidavit suggesting that the court should probably hold him in contempt of court because he is not paying his debts. So Patrick Tomlinson refuses to pay Quasi what he owes for trying to sue him like a retard. And having lost that lawsuit, and now owes statutory damages for the whole rigmarole that he started. He is refusing to pay his debts, and Quasi is not going to let up. He will pay Quasi, and he will enjoy it. That is your Tomlinson update. Okay. So last time I mentioned the tipster stuff with Turkey Tom. Don't worry, I will not be playing Turkey Tom's rap again. I could if you want. Maybe I should have a poll if we want to play the Turkey Tom rap again. I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. The tipster update is now that he has a thread, people are kind of poking around. And one of the things that they found, this person in particular, Polentix, this is only Polentix research. I have no idea if this is true or not. I'm just going to show you what he wrote. But he found a tipster alter ego. He had made this post many years ago, probably in 2006, under the name Santelin17585, and he writes this again years ago. Hello, my name is Robert Santellin, and one of my biggest dreams is to develop a revolutionary operating system. I know, I'm aiming pretty high, but it has always been a dream of mine. Anyways, I have one problem. I know absolutely nothing about operating system development. No code knowledge, no idea what I need, where to start, or even how to get the knowledge and supplies I need. What I really need is someone to walk me through it. Please walk me through developing one of the most complicated things on the face of the planet. I just need a mentor to guide my hands. Tipster OS. I don't care if it's just a port of another operating system or oh, we're gonna get another Arch Linux. Great. I just want something that I can call my own and market at a low price without breaking any laws, you know. So if someone could, oh, you just want Red Hat then. So if someone could just walk me through it or even give me a hand with my project, I would really appreciate it. Feel free to email at getgleegames@yahoo.com if you think you can help me. Robert Santellin. So someone takes this username Santellin17585 and they're very certain that this is the tipster from years ago. However, there is another Santellin 17585, coincidentally or not. Well, actually, it has some information on it, such as this is on a different site. This is Spotify. It has references to Cindy, Tipster's ex-wife, ? And a playlist for him, Robert. So that is another instance that he's used this username. Then on the following list, he's following his dad's Spotify account. It shows up on Free Sounds, My Instance, and Microsoft with the Santellin 17585 username. And then he finds this. This is him on friendfinderx.com. And I don't know if this will load. It doesn't load up on Firefox for whatever reason because it's not using secure things. But the gender for this account is female. If I pull it up on Brave, actually doesn't want to work on Brave either. Can I get an archive for this? Is this going to work? Let me double check if this archive works and if it's safe for work, and then I'll put it on screen real quick. Because there is some speculation about what the purpose of this account is. And if I could just read it directly from the site, I would prefer to do that. Oh my god. Look at this caption I got. It's 3 black dudes on a motorcycle. Oh, that's awesome. That's really funny. Okay, okay, so this is him on Friend Finder X. This is the Santellin 17585. He is 36 years old on in real life, so this seems to align. I think he's even from Fontana, California. I'm pretty sure. I think that also aligns with him. Let me check the other post. I think he might point that out. The location of Tipster, so he says that's where he's from, and he's a straight woman looking for men. Birthday lines up. He says that he's a 5 foot tall athletic girl with a 32/70 C cups and is white. I think all of that is a lie. Is Tipster even white? What's his name again? Is he like Italian? Santellin? Is that Italian? That's not white. Come on now. That's Italian. No, he's Mexican. Okay, so this is a lot of bullshit. Okay, so he's just LARPing as like a 5 foot tall athletic girl who's white. Every fat Mexican's dream apparently. It's not Italian, I'm Italian. Okay. So this is just a Mexican then. Trying to pretend to be a 5 foot tall white girl. So I mean, no, I have a very urgent signal message. Hold on. Sorry. I had to I had a very important message related to a Class A top priority of mine that I hinted at the start of the stream. Things are progressing in our favor, chat. Things are progressing. So the pizza arrived. Yeah, I wish. So that's it. I was just bashing Tipster for being a homosexual. I mean, it would make sense. He wants to have spicy chats with the boys on Friend Finder X. He wants to be like, hey, Keffel. Hey, Keffel. I mean, come on. I mean, you know what's funny? I remember I someone gave me shit because apparently the word tomboy now very specifically means like athletic girls, which is not true. But Tipster was saying that what a tomboy Keffels was, and yet here in his profile, what is he describing himself as? Basically, an athletic, 5 foot tall white girl, and he says the Keffels is a tomboy. So I think he's got that kind of that phenotype that he's into. That kind of style. I don't mean Keffels is not fucking anything. Keffels is a man in a dress on a good day. But it seems that might be what he wants to become the tomboy. He wants to go from fat roly-poly Mexican to 5 foot tall athletic white girl. That's his fantasy. I think that many tomboy appreciators in chat maybe share that fantasy. There's your Tipster update. Okay, so should I take? I feel like would you guys be? Oh, did I flash my screen? I did. Wait, no, I did flash my screen. I gave everyone a preview of what I was up to. Fucking goddamn it! Because I didn't transition the slides before. I hate it when I show my cards in the middle of the stream. I do not have any. Actually, I do have a video that I can pee with. Okay, here. So, here's as we transition from the lolcows to the meat of the stream, there is one video to rule them all, to give you a preview of things to come. You ready?
Chartster sent $3 Jobless Johnny, better known to us as Cog the Cuck, seething in chat, brother.
Why is Cog even seething? Nigga, I'm not letting you on.
Time's sake.
Why would we let Cog on? Do you even like Cog? Seriously.
No, he's British.
You know what? I miss these streams.
I know Kiwi Farms thinks I suck. They also think I shit in a bucket. They're not exactly the highest of IQ people. You run a farm called Kiwi Farms. You run a Kiwi Farms. Every drip of everything is on your shitty little website. I can't cover one person? Shut up, Josh. Shut up, Josh. Just because your website's dead. Look at Josh Moon, though, the little cuck on Ralph's show. He's been called a pedo all year with a broken dick. And Josh is sat here going, hey, Ralph, how you doing? Are you okay? How are you feeling? How you feel? Can I stroke your ego a bit? Oh, my gosh. Look at them having a group therapy session. How dare Cog talk about everything, Ralph? Only Kiwi farmers can talk all about Ralph, even when he's not live. Yeah, Josh can't take me because I don't use his website. And I tell people that you don't need it to find content. I know, he hates that shit. He hates the fact that I only have like 5 pages on his website because there's nothing. You know, the best they have is, you used to be homeless. You used to live in a council flat. You used to do these things. They won't invite me on the show. He'll invite everyone like Josh Moon and all the little dicks they all suck each other's dicks. As soon as everything hits the fan for Ralph, who's on his show? Josh, to lick his wounds. Oh boy. Oh boy, they all can't wait to fucking give each other handjobs again. Cog, you and Dan still made the internet history. Yeah, we did, because we're different than anyone else. We're completely different from everyone else in this sector. We actually gave Ralph a slap, while the rest of them just cry about him. I'm going to go to Kiwi Farms and write in this comment section about how much I don't like Ralph. Nothing happened to him. Pussies.
Thanks, Cog. That's Cog. I think that's the only time in Cog's entire life he's ever been entertaining. Wow. But what is he referring to? Is it this meeting of the minds between Joshua, Connor Moon, and Ethan Oliveira? How could such a thing possibly occur? Well, Children of the Apocalypse. I have a story to tell. Okay, so it all goes back to Ralph getting hyped for a Nick Fuentes rally. Now, this is not called AFPAC. I don't know why it's not called AFPAC anymore. It's just called like the Nick Fuentes rally. And it was going to be in an undisclosed location, I think in West Palm Beach, Florida, way down in the south of Florida. And Ralph decides, by the way, you know what? No, okay, I'll get to that. I didn't even think of adding any Nick Fuentes stuff for this, but I will detour to that. So Ralph decides he's going to go. He's going to fly from Cancun to Florida. I think in the last stream I was talking about how his plans look to be in a sad state of affairs. His truck is out of commission. People speculated on why that could be. He said he shredded the tire. People looked up the Carfax for his vehicle, and apparently it's in repossession. So I don't know if it's been repossessed or what. Point is that he ended up getting to the Cancun airport anyways, and he flew to Florida, and he got to the airport just fine. And then his Groyper friend, who was going to pick him up for the rally, announced that Ralph had landed, and thus sprung Vickers' trap. Dun, dun, dun. Vickers, of course, a million trillion steps ahead, had sent 2 different service processors to the airport to stake out Ethan Ralph. When Ethan Ralph landed, he actually did not leave the airport immediately, suspecting that Vickers was staking him out at the airport. However, when the Groyper announced on Twitter, without Ralph's permission, I believe, that Ralph had actually landed and was now in Florida, they knew they just had to wait a little bit longer for Ralph to come out. And so when that happened, he did get served. Vicious Vickers bragging on Twitter on his private account. Lean in close, whispers. The safe location was hidden behind a TSA checkpoint. Likely drinking himself stupid, waiting to make sure no one was waiting for him. Fortunately, gay-bashing Yee24 was kind enough to confirm that he had arrived. So parties knew it was only a matter of time before he waddled on out. Oof. And there's the tweet that gay-bashing Yee24 had put out to announce that Ralph had arrived. Vickers follows this up and says, Ethan Oliver Ralph, convicted sex offender, after swearing I'd never be able to pin him down and serve him with my lawsuit, was served within hours of reaching U.S. soil. Hope he enjoys the rally and has a good cry on his boss's shoulder. And I want to say, is there like an archive of the video? I'll try to load it up on the previous page, and if the website's not going to cooperate with me, I'll just move on, because it's not that interesting. He literally just gets handed papers in the airport. Yeah, it looks like we're not going to be able to luck out. The site's performance is all over the place right now because I'm ferreting things through a bunch of proxies to try and get it up, because they're going after the proxy and shit too. But Ralph says, not one dime, I promise you. And then he posts a picture of the lawsuit, and if this does not want to load, oh, it does load. Perfect. Maybe this would load too. Oh, it did load. Are we going to be able to get the video? Maybe not. I believe that Ralph is being sued not just for defamation, but intentional infliction of emotional distress. And IIED, as it's called, which I have been sued of in the past, so I have a little bit of experience with this. IIED torts require a physical component. You can't just say, oh, you hurt my feelings, therefore I'm owed damages under IIED. IIED is a common law tort, which means that it's usually not even written in a statute. It's just something that we agree is like based on case law is a thing that you can get damages for. But usually one of the prongs of IIED torts is that you have to prove physical duress. Because there is occasions where, like, for instance, here's a real thing that can cause IIED. Let's say that you're a person, a stranger, steals your child and then lies and says that your child has died and you will never see her again, sorry. And then you find out later that she just kidnapped her and wanted to raise her as her own kid or whatever the fuck, and then you get your kid back, right? That act, even though that's kidnapping, that's a crime, that actually has a civil component for emotional distress. Because you can say, I went to a therapist, I wasn't able to sleep, my work performance was was impacted. I threw up. You know, I have PTSD now. Those are all facets of a IIED tort where you're saying that you were hurt so badly that you were actually owed damages, even though it was just your feelings basically that were hurt, just in a very severe and measurable way. Vickers is trying to say that Ralph has caused him emotional distress, I believe. And to back up this claim, because he went online and Googled, what do you need for an IIED tort? And said, you have to have physical pains as a result of it. So he writes this in regards to Ethan Ralph talking shit about him on his podcast. 11, as a proximate result of the acts of defendants alleged below or above, plaintiff was hurt and injured in his health, strength, and activities, and sustained injury to their nervous system and person, all of which has caused and continued to cause plaintiffs great mental, physical, and nervous pain and suffering. Plaintiff is informed and believed, and thereon alleged, that these injuries will result in permanent disability. As a result of these injuries, plaintiff has suffered damages in an amount not yet ascertained and to be shown according to proof at time of trial. So Vickers is claiming that he is literally physically and mentally handicapped now because Ethan Ralph knocked him the fuck out by yelling at him on a podcast, and he is unable to fully cope with the consequences, I assume, of his daughter being gunted and his legacy now being inexorably intertwined with the Ralph Amell seed, the DNA, the swine master's direct financial wallet rape of him as it continues forward in time is literally debilitating. And he can't even get up anymore. He's got such aches and pains from the gunting. Funny. But so in the timeline, right, Ralph is now at the airport. He's arrived in Florida. He's been served and he's had a couple drinks. So here's him in the airport, and he's doing a little pep talk, getting ready to go out and face the world. And it's one of the most bizarre things. Keep in mind, he claims when I talk to him, which I'll get to, I promise, that he has had 6 drinks at this point. He said that he was 68 days sober, and getting served by Vickers pushed him over the edge, and he got pretty drunk in the airport.
See, you didn't understand why O.J. Simpson is my hero. He's my hero because he beat criminal charges and he didn't pay one single dime to the Goldmans or the Browns, minus the book they stole from him. And I plan on acting in the same manner. And also, I don't plan on losing, because do you know how hard it is to prove defamation in California? It's very fucking hard. I'll curb my words, but it's very hard. And so we'll see what happens. I don't like your chances.
His skin looks terrible. Okay, here's the deal with his face. Yes, his skin looks awful in this video. I believe the reason why is that he has rosacea as a result of drinking. Like when you drink, I believe that it restricts your capillaries in your face, and that can in certain people, especially with lots of alcohol, can give you what looks like rosacea in people. I also think that it's Florida, and as I'm not a native Floridian, but as someone who spent most of his life in Florida, it's hot as fuck in Florida. I want to make that clear. Florida is a subtropical hell. It is one of the worst climates in the entire world. I've been all over. It is agony to live in Florida. So he is in Florida in, what is it, July? July. Awful. Terrible. Very bad. You don't want to be in Florida in July. And that has a tie into something I want to point out in the future. But he's there. He's pretty fucked up. And he was going to be staying at a guy called Black Swan's house. Black Swan's house or apartment or whatever. Black Swan, if you don't know, is an ex-homosexual, quote unquote. He found Catholicism thanks to Nick Fuentes, has disavowed homosexuality, and according to Ralph, his entire family is alcoholics. So when he arrives and he gets drunk, he calls up Black Swan and says, "I'm ready to come over. I need you to pick me up." Well, he slurs it. Black Swan picks up that he's intoxicated and says, "If you're drunk, you can't come over to my house. I don't want anything to do with any alcohol." So this is where he puts out the tweet saying, "Can someone poach me up from the airport?" Black Swan communicates to Nick Fuentes at this time, from what I understand. I could be not 100% of the timeline, but something happens. Black Swan says, "No, you can't come over." Nick Fuentes is told that he's intoxicated. And then Nick pays for him to get a hotel room, I believe is what happens. And then Nick indirectly, I believe, communicates to Ralph that he's not invited anymore. Ethan puts out a pretty somber tweet saying, "I think I'm going to fly home in the morning." Oh, I need some music for this. Hold up. I need some. There we go. He's defeated. He's down bad. "I think I'm going to fly home in the morning." Had something come up. Then he announces it. Everyone says, "Gang's got your back. Good luck." But it's not over. It's not over, because he says, "You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to attend the Fuentes rally too. He deserves support. I was personally invited by Nick, and despite having all these lawyer bills, came anyway. It would be an insult to Nick and my fans to leave now." So he decides, no. Actually, not happening. I'm standing my ground. I'm in Florida. I can stand my fucking ground all I want, and I ain't going home, bish. So he poses himself ready to arrive. He puts out some more tweets I'll read through. He says, in reply to Raphael Mania, unconfirmed but credible rumor, Ethan and Ralph will be staying at home this weekend. He has been given a soft disinvite from the AF rally. Stay home and take care of yourself. You're going to throw her out right now. Ethan Ralph says, untrue. I will be at the rally tomorrow. Guaranteed. Groyper's now in fucking panic mode. Goy from America saying, don't go if you have any self-awareness. Elish Zoomer says, don't go if you respect Nick at all. Real Guntguard, who I believe is Black Swan, don't quote me on that, says, no, go home and detox. Ralph says, no, I'm detox and I'm not drunk at all. I will be there. Anyone with a brain cell can see that I'm not fucked up at all, and don't you tell me what to do ever. Now this is the issue, right? I guess every streamer ever has obstinate defiant disorder. I was diagnosed as a child with it. Ricada says that he's diagnosed with it too. Ralph definitely has it. If you try to tell Ralph what to do, he will do a 180 and do the opposite just to spite you. He quotes Ocean Eyes saying, don't go if you're respecting it all, and says, dude, what are you even saying? I had on E-Slip Up Day when I got served. I'm not drinking, and I plan on going to the rally. I was personally invited by Nicholas Fuentes. And he puts out a video saying that he's going to go. And literally at a party now, not drinking anything except Coca-Cola, there's like 9 witnesses. Real Guntguard can suck my ass. Come and stop me from my personal invite if you want. Doubt it. This is the video.
You show a video from 3 days ago when I was drunk. I'm not drunk now. That was right after I got served. And you got a lot of nerve telling me shit. You're nothing but a non-fucking piece of shit on Twitter. You don't tell me a goddamn thing. I will be at the rally tomorrow. If they turn me away, I was personally invited by Nick Fuentes. I don't really see that happening. But, you know, if it does, whatever. I will be at the rally tomorrow for sure.
So he says for sure. Jeez. There's actually a very specific video that I do not have lined up that I absolutely positively fucking need. He's back and forth arguing. This is it. Excellent. So this is the video that I think kind of fucked everything up. He put this out. He's at a party with a couple of groypers getting ready to enjoy the Nick Fuentes second rally. And this goes on Twitter.
Ethan Ralph! 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 Ethan Ralph!
He gets a chant going for Ethan Ralph at the Nick Fuentes rally. Ooh. I don't know what, partner, I don't know what you think you're up to, but there's only room for one cat in this litter box. Nick Fuentes' pride bruised, seeing that there is another person challenging his top dog status at his own rally. Now here is where the timeline gets fuzzy. So Nick Fuentes, rather Ethan Ralph has been contacting Nick Fuentes a bunch of times at this point. I think that he said he called him like 100 times and did not get a reply. Nick Fuentes has a big rally, or not big, quote unquote, rally coming up. So chances are he is actually just working on his rally and isn't deliberately ignoring Ralph. Ralph does not see it that way because his issue is that the top dogs at the Fuentes rally are all like icing him out. He says that they're giving him a cold shoulder. He says that they're kind of telling him that he's not wanted, that he's like, you know, he should, if he knows what's good for him, he should not attend, so on and so forth. They're basically trying to pass along a message that he's not wanted. Ethan Ralph intends to clarify things directly, as Ralph does, and reaches out to Nick Fuentes for a comment to make sure that he's still invited. Receives no such comment. Then, according to him, he has two phones. He has one for his US number and one for his Mexican number. He communicates with Nick Fuentes on his Mexican phone. He sets down his phone and forgets it. He loses his Mexican phone. It gets stolen. Nick Fuentes decides to text him via Signal, saying that he is completely allowed to attend so long as he is sober. Ralph maintains that he did not receive this message and had no idea. And if he had received this message, he would not have done what he did. And what he did was he completely and totally lost his shit at America First and Nick Fuentes. So, I guess I'll just have to summarize this. I don't think these caps are included, but Ralph then goes on Telegram and he doxes the name and phone number of 5 groypers. I want to say I'll actually count them just to make sure I'm not wrong. He doxes. God, there's so many messages. Oh, these all got deleted. This message couldn't be displayed on your device because it violates Telegram terms of service. He posted one. Actually, I can count how many of these messages there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he doxed all of the America First top capos, all their numbers, their names, and because usually your phone number is associated with your address information on white page websites like, you know, Spokeo and shit, it was very trivial for almost all of them to just plug in their phone number or their name or their phone number and get a list of people that have used that phone number and then compare the name and get an address for a couple of them. So he like basically provided the lead for doxing like a lot of the Nick Fuentes people that are like especially Nick Fuentes' number 2. That guy was definitely doxed directly because of Ralph. So that happened. Nick Fuentes made a vague Telegram message saying something like, I hope someone's happy with their actions and what that will lead to. And then, according to Ralph, we were all watching this unfold in real time. Ralph was basically outside of the rally in the parking lot and tweeting and sending Telegram messages from the parking lot of the Fuentes rally before it started. And he went live. He tried to go live. We were waiting for him to go live and it never happened. But didn't his Cozy account went 404, so they banned him. According to Ralph, though, he was live for maybe 30 seconds, so they waited for him to go live from the parking lot, and when he did, they immediately banned him as he went live. So that I never saw any footage. I don't think that we could recover the footage of him outside the parking lot, but according to him, he was banned immediately trying to go live from outside the Fuentes rally. And he said that the rally was delayed like 30 minutes because he was outside and they were afraid that he was going to bum rush the stage. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's funny. So I'm going to say that it is true. Okay. And there, I want to show you, I wish I could, maybe the Rumble. I bet you Rumble still has Rumble. By the way, me and Miles Chong, Dog Killer, actually it was Vito the Pedo who posted a clip of Nick Fuentes streaming on Rumble and said, "Oh my gosh, Rumble is so full of anti-Semites." And then Ian Miles Chong, Dog Killer, retweeted this, and then fucking Elon Musk replied with 2 exclamation points or some shit. So another win for Elon Musk. He's responding to tweets from a fucking Malaysian dog killer and a pedophile denouncing Nick Fuentes because or denouncing Rumble because they allowed someone that says things that they don't like to be on the internet. Based Elon at it again. How many children wander around in Africa because they weren't harvesting without any hands because they weren't harvesting emeralds fast enough because of Elon Musk? We'll never know. We'll never know. But thankfully, he's decided that he really appreciates free speech, at least when it serves to stroke his cock. Where is... Am I going to be able to find this, or is this gone? Fuentes rally. I just want to show... Is this it? Did he delete it? Did it get deleted? For fuck's sake, man. I just want to show you guys the aesthetic of this rally. There's only the Sneeko one. Hopefully, maybe if I Google it, I'll get some stills or something. Is there a Fuentes rally archive ? And we'll see if the chat can help me. Ooh, I bet you it's on Cozy. I would fucking hope so. That site has to serve some kind of use, doesn't it? Sorry, it's really important to me that I show you this No, this replay is from 4 months. Did he really delete like the entire archive of the fucking thing? They dumped it because of the audio. The audio was fucked. The first 10 minutes of the entire stream was in mute. And then I can't really describe this without showing you guys. Maybe the Kino Cathedral has it. Hold up. The audio was so utterly fucked because of okay, here. Is this it? Okay, yeah, okay, hold up. You're gonna have to listen to PPP and Worski as I show you this, though. It's the only way to get this done. It's really important to have the audio.
Explosion. This is like Fallout.
Okay, so it's muted here. You can see this is how they started it.
Honestly, now.
Still muted.
About Ram Rants, that's like literally
Okay.
what I would talk about.
I wish they would shut up so you could hear the audio.
5 years ago. Like
Yeah,
Ram
it's like-
Rants, that you
Okay, you hear how bad Fuentes' audio is?
he already won.
He has a real microphone hooked up to the podium. This thing has a real cable that probably connects to something. Like, I imagine that this is not just a prop microphone. They actually have this set up. But the audio is so bad that I'm convinced it's this. They probably, like, if it's called a crash cart in a data center. I don't know what you would call it in audio context. But usually you have like a little shopping trolley that has all sorts of computer components in it and audio equipment and usually a laptop sitting on top. And you probably have this audio cart set up somewhere. And there's a tech there standing by the side to make sure that OBS is working and so on and so forth. I have a feeling, because of how awful the audio is, the audio cart is set up to record from the laptop that sits on top of it and not from the microphone that's probably several $1,000s that's sitting in front of Fuentes' mouth. Because there's no other way to explain how the audio, A, is in such a bad quality, and B, it picks up the audience louder than Nick Fuentes, unless it is the fucking laptop microphone on a cart out in the middle of the group of people, because otherwise it's impossible to achieve this level of audio hell. Really, like, I'll play it a little bit longer.
This isn't winning. This is failure.
Watch my show. Guess what?
Then it has like this ridiculous, like, they're projecting this behind him. I think there's one part where he's got like angel wings or something. Let's see if I can find. Oh, this looks like it. They have like, it's made of bullets or something. They have like a weird montage of guns, and they have like the bullets, so it looks like he has angel wings. And to top it off, this I want to explain as the weirdest fucking thing about his entire rally. I don't know if you noticed this. Nick Fuentes is wearing a heavy coat. I assume that he went onto the internet. He went and said, I want some kind of Nazi surplus officer's coat. Maybe he went and got something off Hugo Boss to try and look a little bit fashy. And then he even dimmed the color and made it like an old newspaper reel where it's like a yellow. It's like, I want to look like I'm a 1930s NSDAP party speaker, and I'm giving a speech in a Hugo Boss coat, and in front of my beer hall. And that's what he went for. However, those coats were designed for Germans living in Bavaria, because I think the NSDAP got started in Munich. And in Bavaria, it's cold because they're in the mountains, Central Europe. Nick Fuentes' rally is in West Palm Beach, Florida, the only tropical part of the entire country. He is standing there in a coat that is very heavy in July in West Palm Beach, Florida, in a tropical climate. And all I can think is, what a faggot playing dress up for his little high school AV club meeting as he talks into a laptop microphone that's probably about 10 meters away from him. like what a joke. And this is supposed to intimidate people. I'm supposed to think that he's a serious guy that has a serious movement that can put on serious rallies, and he's going to dress up very seriously. And all I see is this little boy has put on his Nazi coat so that he can do a stage play and try to be Hitler 2, 3, and 4. And he can't even get the audio working. God, there was something else about this as well that I found funny. I don't know, I guess he's deleted it out of shame because it was so stupid the entire time. So there you go. That's the rally that Ethan Ralph was unable to attend because he was not cool enough to sit with the cool kids at the Catboy Litterbugs. Oh, I do remember. So I tuned in for just a little bit. It was boring, so I didn't watch it, and I couldn't understand what the fuck he was saying because the audio was shit. So I was like, fuck it. But you know how he opens his big political rally where he's talking about the really important stuff that plagues our nation and so on and so forth, and how he's totally a serious person, no, really, for real. He opens it up and says, he starts talking about Destiny. Not the video game, the guy. He opens it up, and the first thing that come out of his mouth are about how he had a debate with Destiny, and he called Destiny a cuck, and said that his wife fucked black men. I'm thinking, like, you know, fine, whatever. You want to make fun of Destiny, go for it. I don't care. But that's like a Ethan Ralph thing to talk about. That's something that I would talk about on my podcast. Imagine Donald J. Trump opening his rally, and he's just like, we got some bad hombres out there. We got blue-haired people. They're letting their wives fuck black men. It's a disaster. Like you can't take that serious. I mean, at least with Trump, it would be funny because it's Trump. With Nick Fuentes, it's like you're acting like you're a level above Destiny, and you're a incel by choice, a volcel, you know, repressed homosexual, bulimic. Who's never been touched by a woman that wasn't his mother, and you're not really in a position to look down on Destiny as far as I'm concerned. You're pretty much in the same boat. You're 24 and you look like you're 30. You're already going bald, and you're gonna try to say that Destiny's low T. I don't think that works out for you. So it was pretty fucking disastrous, and I really, you know, I really feel bad for people who look up to Nick Fuentes, because it's easy to laugh at them and say, haha, they're, you know, brainwashed catboys and stuff. But it really must be like they are a lost generation of young men who are desperate for any kind of father figure. And at this point, they've invested so much emotional energy into America First as like a last hope for American, you know, nationalism or whatever the fuck, that it's just too emotionally painful for them to say, actually, this is fucking gay. And I wasted my time. And I wasted my energy supporting this guy. That's the only thing that makes sense. His circle keeps shrinking. People keep flaking off. He can't keep anyone on his side, not even Ethan Ralph. Surprise, surprise. And it's just really fucking sad to think about all those people who even still are like, this is my only hope. I will never be happy if Nicholas J. Fuentes cannot make me happy. Pretty fucking depressing, chat. So this breaks down. The rally happens, and we're waiting for Ralph to go live. He never goes live because of the aforementioned cozy banning. And Ralph gets on his plane and comes back home, and we're all waiting with bated breath to see what the fallout is. What's going to happen? Of course, the docs drops right at the beginning of the rally, so it's already like a huge shitstorm. I think that Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes have like the same number of tweets in the trending tag. It's like Nick Fuentes had like 10,000, Ralph had like 15,000, but because Ralph rarely gets mentioned versus Nick Fuentes, they were both trending at the same time. So all the shit about his capos getting doxxed like completely usurped the rally. And if there even if there was anything meaningful to be said at the rally, the fact that the live streams were so butchered as you saw that they were inaudible, then there was no way for Fuentes to come back from that. It was Ethan Ralph's rally at that point. He had lost. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm ready for a good shit show. I don't really care who comes out looking worse, because it's like, it's Ralph and AF, who gives a fuck? Then I find out that and I wrongly assumed that this guy was AF, because he's not. Jaden, the guy who routinely okay, correct me if I'm wrong. This is some deep lore stuff that I don't have 100% straight, but I think I understand. Jaden, the guy who turned on Nick Fuentes, has a sugar daddy named Utros. Can we establish that what I'm said so far is correct? Jaden, X, who now hates Nick, who shows up on Kino Casino all the time, has a sugar daddy named Utros. Correct. Okay, everyone says Utros is the one who posted the picture of like the 14-year-old girl working at Taco Bell and said "Cunny," right? Referring to the 14-year-old girl. Is this the same guy? Ultros, not Utros. Sorry, Ultros. Is this the same guy? Yes. Okay. No. They say it's fake. Okay. I guess that's their line now, that it's fake. Okay. So I assume that he was America First. But then I said, oh, that's fucking gross, but I don't know who this Ultros guy is. Some people in chat are saying it's fake. But then what happened is Big Tech played this tweet on his stream, and he made some weird, like, passive comment, like smirking about it, about the Cunny pill. And then people in the America First chat were like, started getting excited for it. And if you don't know, I hate having to fucking explain this. Anybody who says that word is a pedophile. It is a pedophile dog whistle. It comes from 4chan. It is a reference, is a sexual term for a child's vagina. Anybody who says that in any way, besides being like a direct quote referencing something specific, is a pedophile. There is no way around it. So when Big Tech drops this and smirks about it, and the fucking chat starts going all caps excited for it, I'm thinking, okay, I am now firmly against the America First people. I want to see Ralph win. Ralph gets home, and he's kind of aimless. He's doing his thing. He's streaming. So I agree to talk to him. And I played the one clip that was really funny, which was us bashing Cog. The rest of it is me guiding Ralph through trying to get him to say as much as he knows about America First. Because at this point, I would like to see them burn, because I'm pretty sure at this point it's like a pedophile thing. It's like they're all laughing at this, and I know why they're laughing at it. They're not laughing at it; they're laughing with it. So Ralph gets on the tear, and he doesn't have too much information about America First that we haven't heard before. The one thing is that he talked about how those people that I mentioned are in some kind of like sussy squad, and they're all weirdos that I think he even said that they were like pedophiles that were excited about Lolicon and shit. And he basically called them out as gay or as pedophiles. And then there is another group of people who are ex-gays that Black Swan is a part of. So you have the Sussy Squad, who is like a pedophile clique in America First. And then you have the ex-gay people that Black Swan is a part of that are also doing ex-gay stuff together. Which, if you don't know, if you ever want to have gay sex, go to an ex-gay group therapy camp together, and you'll definitely get fucked in the ass. So you have all these ex-gays in America First. You have all these sussy people in a clique in America First. And then, but besides that, Ralph doesn't really have, at least that he's dropped. I don't know. Maybe he's waiting to drop it. He's probably going to write an article or something. I look forward to it. I want to see Ralph's article. But it was mostly Black Swan. He talks about how Ali Jamal, the Romanian guy he was going to have a party with at his house, is basically like held in universal contempt by America First, and they only keep him around because he's got money, and he super chats them all. He talked about how Politically Provoked gave $500 a month to Nick Fuentes or something. That's why he's like the only, or she's the only woman that's allowed to stream on Cozy. And then the funny thing happened. And this happened like just at the start of the stream. I picked up on this. I kind of was disappointed that Nick Fuentes hadn't said anything about Ralph, and I kind of realized that Fuentes' silence and his complete lack of response to Ralph at all meant that Fuentes had nothing. He had nothing to say about Ralph. There's nothing he could do to Ralph, and his silence was his strategy. So I tried to provoke Fuentes by calling him a pussy over and over again throughout that stream, and Fuentes still hasn't responded. But at the start of this day, the news came in from the Nick Fuentes people. The orders from the boss are clear. Do not give any attention. Do not interact. Don't even log him. Cut off all oxygen. So this is the Nick Fuentes strategy. He has decided that a complete and total shutdown of any mention of Ethan Ralph is demanded of the situation as a response. So Michael Alberto, who you may remember as being the little Zoomy Zoom, who was the quote-unquote moderator for the Ethan Ralph Medicare debate, as chosen by Nick Fuentes, and the head of the Alberto Commission, who was to get to the bottom of what was happening with Ethan Ralph, decided to go on Ralph's show to defend Nick Fuentes. His channel is now gone. He has been deleted from Cozy, and immediately after this happened, the admin of the Cozy went on to say that Alberto requested that his account be deleted, and Alberto has personally rebuked this and said that Cozy copying Twitch's policies. You can't have banned streamers on. Not even YouTube does that. Alberto says that the Cozy admins are lying. So they banned him for talking to Ralph against Der Perher's marching orders to not give any attention to Ethan Ralph, and then came out and lied that they didn't ban him, and he requested his account be deleted because they didn't want to tell all the Cozy people that they're just banning anyone talking about Ethan Ralph. So this is what Nick Fuentes has done in response to Ethan Ralph dragging his cock across Nick Fuentes' face. He has signed a declaration that Ethan Ralph right now is permitted to say anything he wants about anybody in America First, and they are completely and totally prohibited from addressing it, defending themselves, or talking about it in any way, shape, or form. Ethan Ralph has just been given the keys to butt fuck anybody in America First, and if they dare say shit about it, they're banned. They're completely excommunicado from the America First cult. So as far as strategies for dealing with the hollering hog for the rage pig on the loose, that is probably the worst strategy you could probably have. And think about, like I said, the Lost Boys who are looking for a male figure to give them some guidance on how to, you know, in the dark times of our hell world. This is the guy they look up to, and they're thinking, Ethan Ralph has challenged the might of America First with its many acting organs, the Sussy Squad, the ex-gay squad. They're all armed up and ready to hit back. What are your commands, Der Pierre? And he says, nothing. Take it like a bitch. I don't want to deal with this. I'm not going to say shit about it. Goodbye. I'm going to go play what's that fucking gay game that he and Beardson play? Is it Valorant? I'm gonna go play some Valorant. I'm gonna go play that League of Legends game, Valorant, and I'm gonna be a black girl, and I'm gonna shoot people in the head. That's what I'm gonna do tonight. Bye bye. And that, I believe, that is where we now stand in the Fallout. Ralph did a big stream. It was I spent like 3 hours with him. I want to say it was very cordial. There was one part where it got heated. And I, not to blow my own horn here, but I felt like I handled diffusing that situation very well, and I think I kept Ralph pretty on point. I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't more to come out, but I think just having someone that close to Nick Fuentes, who's been a part of Cozy for so long, and by the way, who is one of the biggest streamers on Cozy, and I know that's, passe to talk about numbers, but when you think of it this way, Nick Fuentes streams at most once a week, I want to say, and he is the biggest streamer. So let's just say that Nick Fuentes is the Tucker Carlson of Cozy. He's the big draw. But imagine if Fox News, except for when they had Tucker Carlson, except for when Tucker Carlson came on, it was just dead air. Nobody streamed on Cozy. Nothing happened on Fox News except for when Tucker Carlson was live once a day or whatever. Nobody would watch Fox News. His own stream would suffer because of this. So Ethan Ralph was just kind of like, he was on like 6 to 8 hours a day, every day, streaming, providing a base level of content that was reliable for the platform, that is now gone from Cozy. And who do you have to replace that with? You have that one Zoomer Groiper, you have that 40-year-old woman, and then you have Beardson, who's basically said he desires to retire now because his life is completely without direction and he's crippled by his depression and the meaninglessness of his existence. That's basically what he said. So Beardson's on his way out because he's about to fucking blow his brains. He's about to kill himself. Because he can't take it anymore, because he's a manlet. And then you have a 40-year-old woman who people only entertain because she has breasts, and even though that they're incel Catholic rapers, they can't resist themselves. And then you have a bunch of fucking nobodies. And Ethan Ralph leaving Cozy has left a fucking vacuum in their audience viewership that has nowhere to go now, except outside of Cozy. It's really nice. It's really nice to see. I've never heard Ralph sound so happy, and of course, I definitely. He's never apologized for calling me a pedophile for like years, or for having his wife call me a pedophile for years. So I will not say that I am like on Team Ralph. However, in this context, when it comes to, I want to see Ralph do well enough that Nick Fuentes literally has to feel bad that Ralph's not with him anymore. It's kind of like with a breakup, right? I want Ralph to do his post breakup glow up, while Nick Fuentes is completely silent, out of public sphere, humiliated by his shitty rally, playing Valorant and eating McDonald's and purging it so he doesn't get fat like a bulimic. Ethan Ralph's living his best life. Yas queening and slaying. This is my headcanon for how this is gonna go down. Kumiya is still in Cozy. That's true, he is. I don't know. I mean I just don't see a path forward for Cozy, or for Fuentes specifically, because like what is his modus operandi? Because he's not racist. His racist clout only comes from the fact that Andrew Anglin, who has on multiple occasions says that he is for forcibly marrying off 13-year-old girls to be impregnated at their first period. He now claims that's a fucking joke, but I don't think it is. I can say it's a joke, but I don't care. I don't think it is a joke. I don't treat it as a joke. So his racist clout is now gone because he tried to suck up to a black man. Oh, actually, that was the one thing that Ralph had that on Nick, was that he intended to replace, when he was doing the presidential campaign with Milo Yiannopoulos for Kanye 2024, he intended to get rid of Milo by getting that fucking Ali Akbar dude, the gay Muslim pedophile, to replace Milo Yiannopoulos. Milo Yiannopoulos was, who of course is like a fucking psycho who keeps dirt on absolutely everyone, who is like a Machiavellian type for the world's most retarded political, like just someone you don't want to ever have any dealings with ever for any reason whatsoever, because he is obviously a fucking lunatic who is like sexually aroused by fucking people over. Milo Yiannopoulos. So he decides to come at Milo Yiannopoulos and say, hey, Kanye, we should get rid of this guy who has any reputation whatsoever and replace him with this brown pedophile. And then Milo Yiannopoulos goes, hey mate, I'm privy to the fact that the gay pedophile Muslim is actually a pedophile. And then he drops the documents right in front of Kanye. And then Nick Fuentes and Ali Akbar look fucking retarded, because as it turns out, Ali Akbar has been sexting 15-year-olds and Nick Fuentes knew about it. And what is Kanye's possible reaction to this except, okay, goodbye, faggot. Goodbye, brown man. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And then Milo wins by default. And then I guess he gets a lot of money from Kanye before he retires. And, by the way, after this breakup, Nick Fuentes... Oh, it's so fucking pathetic. Nick Fuentes is like a super fan of Kanye for years. He wore all his brand designer clothes. He wore that fucking gay, awful, disgusting, retard parachute jacket. Even weeks after the fact that that Kanye had broke up with him. He really saw Kanye as his escape route. Like, my shit's going down the fucking drain. I'm maligned as a fucking racist terrorist. Kanye is my salvation. I'll revitalize my movement. I'll make a fuck ton of money off this rich asshole, and I'll look super cool because I'm friends with the Kanye. And then he literally has like a Scott Tenorman moment where Scott Tenorman comes down and says, "Oh, you're gonna cry now, cry baby. That's not a cool kid. A cool kid wouldn't cry and be friends with a Muslim brown pedophile. This is the uncoolest kid I've ever seen." And then Kanye leaves with Milo Yiannopoulos, and he's just sitting there in his gay ass parachute jacket, looking like a fucking queer. It's the greatest humiliation that's ever been perpetrated upon anyone ever. And how do you recover? There is none. He has no way out of this. He literally must change his name and find another line of work that has nothing to do with politics or personalities ever, or he'll end up like Beardson and he'll kill himself. His Beardson's going to kill himself, probably, based off what he said. And it's like, I don't know, man. As fun as it is to, make fun of Ralph, he can't even keep Ralph. He can't even keep Ralph around because he's so... He's so, because that's the thing. It's like, what really pissed Ralph off, I think, is not that he was disinvited to the rally, because he wasn't. It's that Nick Fuentes in a stroke of genius, sent Milo Yiannopoulos text messages saying that if we kill Ralph, it'll cause drama. So he's like, he's basically saying to Milo, I have to find a way to get rid of Ralph without getting rid of Ralph. And it's like, if you don't want Ralph around, I think if you just say that, he would respect that 1,000 times more than if you do what Fuentes actually did, which was trying to like stealth ice him out of the movement, which is just going to cause like a huge personal injury to him that's going to build up over weeks, like weeks and weeks of frustration that just explodes one day because you're sliding him over and over again as opposed to just like cutting him off. It's like, and that's his tactic as a Machiavellian. I've used that word twice now. I'm going to kill it. But as a Machiavellian leader of the white race, soon to be president, allegedly, according to the Reuters, the greatest political mind of our generation, he can't even figure out a way to like politely get Ralph to fuck off. He just asks people to be mean to him until he feels very awkward and decides not to be a member of America First anymore of his own volition. Like, that's not how it works. Ralph would never have come to the decision on his own, like, oh, I don't feel welcome here anymore, I'm just going to leave. That's what I do. I feel when Dick Masterson's producer is telling me that they would rather have Digibro around than me, I'm like, okay, well, fuck you then, bye-bye. I don't need to put myself in comparison with Digibro. But Ralph isn't like that. He's not going to like take a hint and be like, okay, well, I'm just going to fuck off then. He's going to be like, wait a second, you're slighting me, you're not even going to tell me that you don't want me around. I'm going to dox you, I'm going to dox everyone that you know. I'm going to go on stream and talk about what a faggot you are. I'm going to make fun of everyone you associate with. There's a very big difference in the in how certain people handle things. A political movement's leader is supposed to be able to identify those things. TOS, bro, okay, listen. Now that I've gone through everything, I don't think I missed anything. Here's my plan with YouTube moving forward. I thought about this, and there's no other way to do this. My streams are now getting deleted on YouTube almost immediately after they finish. There is a group of people, they report every stream that I do as soon as I start them. So there is no point in me dancing around with this and trying to keep it up over the weekend or whatever. I will get the archives up on Rumble as soon as I possibly can when the Mad at the Internet site is coming up, and it will come up soon. It will go up there. I'll get the podcast back up on RSS, but on YouTube, I'm live only. There are no archives here. Maybe if I do certain, like I kept my Destiny stream up, if there's certain streams that I can keep up, I'll keep them up. But for my weekly shows, there's no point. Most people want to watch me on YouTube because it's more convenient. Like, I understand. And there's no point in playing fucking games with this. It is what it is. I'm sorry. So that being said, chat, 2 hours in, I have bulldozed through everything. Very, very content dense, I hope. Oh, there is one more thing. I almost forgot. I have the Reddit segment. I said that every week I would try every stream as a cheap source of entertainment. I will find a Redditor. I will pluck them from the crowd, and I will put them on display. And I have found a very funny Redditor for this. No, not the. This is the special one, right? I pick somebody out of the random and just show you how fucked up the average retard is on that site. This is JRU92, so as old as I am, heaven forbid, in R Ask Transgender. He says, trans and no disposable income. Since March of 2020, I have taken on a lot more bills. I had to get a new car. My partner was laid off for work. It's been financial hell since then. This is 3 years ago. I am a 28-year-old trans woman. I've never had any money to see a therapist. I've never had money to really invest in my transition in another way other than some clothes here and there. I came out as trans almost 3 years ago, and it's been incredibly dysphoric since then. I wanted to start HRT before my B-Day last year. No idea how much HRT costs or how I'll even be able to pay for it. And how do I get it? All I believe is that I need it. I'm not a very active in any trans community, and I'm very much in the dark in all these subjects. About time I stop acting like I can do everything alone and put some pieces together, I'm basically going to continue to spiral. Just as I've been spiraling since I was trans, about being trans since I was 16 years old. So he lives in Los Angeles. There's that Wint meme. Help, I need help balancing my budget. I spend $50 on this, I spend $100 on this, I spend $500 on this, and I spend $3,000 on candles. What do I do? He says he lives in LA. Problem number one, you live in LA. But let's see. Chat, is there more to this? Is there more to this story? Well, let's take a gander. This is JRU 1 year on HRT. So this is 3 years ago. This is about 1 year ago. Here's what he looks like. Circle glasses, which unfortunately, despite being very stylish, are now associated with mentally ill people, so they're not stylish anymore. Let's take a look more down here. So no disposable income, he says, quote, no disposable income, but he does post in our anime figurines. This is She's Here. Oh, look at the booty. You got to pay big money for that vinyl booty. Chat, is that a full-scale arcade game in the back behind the anime figurine? Oh, is that 1,000 hard copy PlayStation games? Oh geez, is that an entire collection of vintage video games? Moving day sucks for us, he says, showing off a Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, basically every old vintage console platform that you could ever imagine. No disposable income though. This is after the no disposable income post, in case you're wondering. I don't know. Maybe he's packing up to sell all his junk, all his anime figurines, to really batten down the hatches and be financially responsible. Let's see what his new place looks like. Oh, his entire house is an arcade filled with arcade games from Japan that he had to pay to get imported into the United States. Literally a dozen full-scale arcade cabinets in his room. Yeah, this is after the move. This is 1 year ago. Pretty impressive. No disposable income, by the way. That's a bit surprising. It's really surprising you can put together such an arcade. Look, it's in Japanese and shit. He literally imported this from Japan. He paid fucking out the ass for this shit. But you know, this post 3 years ago. No disposable income, so maybe he got his shit together. He got a great job, and he can supplement his video game because he apparently is one of those guys who's interested in integrated circuits and real physical game machines, and maybe he just got his shit together and he's doing fine. 7 days ago, JRU, our anti-work, $35 an hour and still broke. 31 years of age now, been working full time since I was 16 years old. Never had the privilege to formally educate myself. I would go homeless otherwise. Rent is about $25,000 a year for my 800 square foot apartment. There is no end to the abuse. I spent my whole 20s bootstrapping and having faith in a system that only takes and does not give. Hold up 1 second. I'm making an adjustment to my OBS layout. If you could just, I hate to, you know, work through, you know, tech problems on screen, but you know how things are. I think that's right. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully this works. Oh, geez, it's a big picture. Okay, so I just want to put this right here as I'm reading this. Okay. Let's get back to it. Didn't mean to interrupt myself. There is no end to the abuse. I spent my whole 20s bootstrapping and having faith in a system that only takes and does not give. I never left my state once since I cannot afford a vacation. Never been on vacation and always have to choose work since I would drown otherwise. I want my life back. I don't even know what it means because I've been sold a lie and I'm having trouble returning this propaganda. Yeah, give me a second. I need to make a change to my streaming layout. Just sorry, I know tech issues, but you know, really sucks. You know, it's a big pain in the ass for everyone. Put this right, you know, put this right here while I'm reading. No one cover up chat. It's very important. I want my life back, and I don't even know what that means because I've been sold a lie, and I'm having trouble returning this propaganda. I'm afraid I'm going to snap any day now and just quit. Probably end up on the streets. That's obviously what I was desired to become. I hate it here. USA is a shithole country. This post was emotionally driven, obviously, and lacks context. I make about $50,000 to $55,000 a year on certain variables. I do have a car loan that runs about $600 a month, insurance included. I have to pay out $12,000 in federal state taxes annually. State tax is about 10% here, adding greedflation on top of what really makes essentials sky high. I'm talking about gasoline, groceries, utilities, I do, in fact, have a dependent, my partner. We're not married. They are not able to work for a few years now, since March 2020. It's been a personal domestic issue. 100% is being handled as seriously and carefully as I possibly can. And I'm very grateful to be able to climb as far as I have, but I can still see I'm far from thriving, and it continues to get worse. I expected people to dig through my post history. Thank you for noticing my hobby. The retro gaming community is very strong here in LA, and I've acquired a lot of my collections from trading, connections, and community work. I live and breathe this hobby. It's keeping me alive. And edit 3, finally. I had some time to think about this post all day due to traffic. I do live out of my means, and it's time for big changes. I've been quite lonely with all these thoughts, and all these comments rolling in has really opened my eyes in ways that are very helpful and positive. I quite literally had to get real. So I thank people who took the time to reply to me tonight. Every troll one also are appreciated. Class and solidarity and unity. Class, solidarity, and unity. Guys, I'm on your side. I'm one of the proletariat. I'm just like you. I'm normal, just like you. Don't you want me on your team? Don't you want me in your anti-work communist utopia? I can, like, I don't know. I can set up the video game arcades in the public library, our free public library in our cashless society. I can get the arcade working. Dig the fucking hole. Okay. That's our Redditor. I hope you guys have appreciated it. This is JRU92 down in LA. Transgender since 16. Despite making almost no money in LA, keeping their partner from being homeless and so on and so forth. What a hero. Another working class hero. Okay. And with that, I believe it is super chat time. Did I miss anything? Last call. Last call. Let's see. Anyone got something? Talk about Nick Gurr suing Mike Hunt. Jurish. You know me. I'm not the lawyer ready to take on internet suits between Mike Hunt and Nick Gurr. Sneed, Enoch Burke, don't know that. iDubbbz went on some black person show. I tried to watch it. It was boring. He's in the same video like 8 fucking times. I'm not talking about the Soyjack site because they have an issue with child pornography. I regret ever fucking mentioning them at this point because they're either like deliberately, like they're either incompetent or they're just deliberately passively allowing it. So I'm fucking done with them. No Wolf Tone update this stream. Sorry to say. The Ricada being sued thing I talked about before. There's no updates to that. Sound of Freedom, I haven't been able to see it. It's not playing in theaters here. If there's a graph update, I haven't heard about it, but I would like to hear about it. You know, Nick said... I don't think Nick intended to say this as dumb as he did, but hold up. I will bully him a bit because I'm a little bit peeved. He did a video about me, or on his locals chat. He was talking about me, and he was upset that I didn't clarify 2 things. That number one, Nick didn't reply to my message. He did. It just took him a couple days. I thought he was ghosting me when it happened. The other one was that I thought that Randazza had been replaced, and the reason why I thought that is I thought there's no way he's going to keep, you know, a big dollar lawyer like Randazza on for a case that's obviously designed just to financially harm him. And I had, but somewhere in my brain I had crossed the wires of he probably should get a different lawyer versus what he actually did. Either I read a post that suggested it, and I just assumed that that's what happened or something, but he still has Randazza, and he was upset that I implied otherwise or said otherwise. And then he said this, and again, I think this is just like a slip up, but
abstract.
Oh no, it's right before then. I want to see the transcript though, because that will help me. Oh, there's no, because the channel's so small.
In most of those categories, except I never hate Josh. I never hate him at all. But I sometimes disagree with him. Sometimes he frustrates me. Other times I just love him.
I think this is the
what
part.
I always love about having Josh on the show is we get into very abstract discussions about really important issues, the banking system, the monetary system, the future of digital creation, the future of digital privacy and security, and all of that shit. And I love talking to Josh about that stuff because he sees the world in a different way. It's like talking to someone with Down syndrome.
He clarifies what he's trying to say. I cannot help but feel slighted.
Like the world is completely different to them than to you. Except Josh is the inverted, because people with Down syndrome tend to have a pretty positive outlook on the world, and Josh's outlook is very, very negative.
I thought he was going to, when I heard this, I thought, oh, he's going to, he's going to backtrack and be like, Josh is the opposite. He's very smart and he's not a retard. And then he just says, oh, unlike those retards, this retard is a negative Nancy as opposed to a positive Polly. You know, like those other retards are usually very positive. Josh is a retard that's in the negative. It's like, okay, buddy.
It's interesting. Like he thinks that all the black people in Detroit will rampantly breed and take over the country like a horde of fire ants in crime and rage or something. Actually, I just put that in his mouth, and that was a joke, so please don't take that seriously. But we have very different opinions about the world and what.
Ricada desperately needs to stop drinking. Number one, I have never said anything about black people in Detroit taking over the entire country like a bunch of fire ants. They're too busy getting abortions and killing each other to do that. I'm more concerned about other demographics than the black people of Detroit. The other thing is, I don't think that if he wasn't, I don't know if he is, he might say he's sober in this, but there's no fucking way you jump to this guy I like is like a person with Down syndrome, unless you're actually fucked up on something. Cause that's not like comparison that you make, unless you're deliberately trying to be offensive or if you're like not thinking clearly. So yeah, terrain, pull up. But he takes issue with me not getting things right. I would like to explain that when I talked about the Montegraph lawsuit, I actually did due diligence and I asked him directly about the lawsuit in short, and he told me that he said that, quote, Montegraph probably always like sucking little boy cock, and the qualifier probably there is like a lifeline for defamation shit. However, I have looked up the clip, and the actual clip is he's pissed drunk because he just got banned from YouTube, and he's drunk on some other guy's channel. And Montegraph is in the chat making fun of him because Montegraph is like a boomer troll doing extremely low effort trolling of Rekieta. Like the lamest like image memes making fun of him and shit. And he's in chat. Nobody even sees Montegraph in chat. And he points out Montegraph to his audience of thousands of people who are there for the big drama that Nick Rekieta got banned from YouTube. And he says, Montegraph has always liked sucking little boy cocks, which is the exact opposite of probably. So, and by the way, when I said this, I said that Rekieta said he probably, the probably sense, which is what I was told. People came out at me and said, Josh is defending Rekieta because he lies about what Rekieta said, the defamatory statement in question. I didn't lie. I was told directly a false statement that is a material misrepresentation of the lawsuit. I've heard the clip. I know he didn't say probably. And then you want to talk about like, who gives a, like me, he's going to say that I'm, I'm in the wrong for not seeing his messages in time and for not knowing who his current lawyer is, when I am being what feels like deliberately misled about very important specific points of contention in the lawsuit, which makes me look like I'm a bad faith actor when I'm trying to be as fair as possible. And what I feel is that that the lawsuit was completely avoidable. And it's really terrible to say that someone is a pedophile who sucks little boy cocks because allegedly he made a movie that was in very poor taste that nobody has ever seen because it's just not out there anymore. He took it down. I guess he changed his mind about it. And who has never been charged with anything, as far as I know, related to like sexual misconduct. So I don't know, man. I've been called a pedophile for half of my life now. I've been called a pedophile since I was like 14 or 15 years old. And it's not fun. It cost me a lot of opportunity. It cost me a lot. It's alienated me from my family. It's alienated me from people that I care about. It's hurt my prospects with careers long term. It's hurt my ability to keep my site up. It's hurt my ability to network and do the things that I want to do. And it's completely unfounded. It's unfair. There's nothing I can do about it. And I have a little bit of sympathy for even a crazy fuck job like Montegraph being called a pedophile that sucks little boy cock. Like, that's just awful. That's really terrible to say about somebody with no evidence. It's like, yeah, it's shit, man. So I'm sorry that my sympathies aren't aligned to preference, but I feel like I've been pretty consistent about these kinds of things. Poor Downey. All right. Let's see. It's not that I'm not trauma posting. I am telling you that I have an informed opinion about this. That even though people categorize me as being like a free speech activist, I really believe that if you're going to call someone a pedophile, you better fucking mean it. The way I frame it is like this: if you're going to call someone a pedophile, you better be ready to shoot that person and sleep soundly afterwards. Because if you're not ready, if someone's a pedophile, it is morally righteous to murder them. And therefore, if you're going to call someone a pedophile, you should be ready to kill them with your own hands and not feel anything about it. And I don't like, I just don't feel that that's substantiable with Montegraph. So there you go. I would kill Vito. I am 100% convinced that Vito is a pedophile. And if he was lined up and they said, Josh, you are our top guy. You are the only person that we trust to put the bullet in Vito as part of our firing squad, I would be like, Joe Biden, I got you, man. I got you. Put me in the game, coach. I'm ready. I'm 100%. I fully fucking believe it. I would sleep like a baby. All right. I think that it is time for the money zone. Thank you to everyone who sends in super chats and the people in the Gumroad. I really appreciate it, especially right now. I know that the financial situation for everyone's a bit fucked up, but it means a lot to me. Where is the donation alerts? Gumroad, that's right. I don't know anything about Dragon Lord. I don't know why. If there's been like a Dragon Lord update, I've not heard about it. I'm not Dragon Lord guarding. I'm not dragon guarding. Oh, there it is. The other one. Okay. Drachengarden. It's the German word for guard. It's not like sicker. Guard in German. Bewachen. Beschützen. Drachen, bewachen. that rhymes. That's a cool word. See, everything in German sounds cooler. That's why they use it to sing metal and shit, man. Okie dokie. Where are we? All right. Anonymous for 25 says, it may be naive, but it was wholesome to see you and Ralph talk candidly like that. It was pretty wholesome. It was pretty big chungus. I agree. It was nice to see Ralph in high spirits. You know, I know that, like I said, I'm not like Team Ralph, but in regards to the Fuentes thing, I am, and I'm happy to see. Like I've said before, with people like Chris, though now it's too far gone with Chris, but I've said this about Chris in the past before the incident with his mother. I said that I kind of secretly root for people on the site, especially someone like Chris, because if someone like Chris can if Chris was able to turn his life around and get a job and get a girlfriend and you know, move on, like nobody on earth has any fucking excuse. How bad you got it? You don't got it worse than CWC. You can go out and fix your shit. If CWC could fix his shit, you know, then you could too. That didn't happen with Chris, but like Ralph's down fucking bad. He's got addiction issues. He's got issues with his income. He's got issues with, you know, his stream. He's got 2 baby daddies after him. He's trying to patch things up with May still, and it's like he's pretty fucking lonely right now. And although the odds are not particularly in Ralph's side, if Ralph was able to, you know, clean up and fix his shit, literally no one on this planet has a real excuse for not doing the same. So in that sense, I always kind of root for people, you know, up to a certain extent. There are some people I do not root for, but as long as some people don't do certain inviolable acts, cross certain lines, I'm always a fan of a redemption arc, because there's not enough good news out there in the world, chat. And I don't like wishing bad things on people in general, because it sounds weird, but there's a difference between, like, I feel, at least, you could disagree. I think there's a difference between like talking about how people have fucked up versus actively wishing people to have continued misery for the rest of their lives. You kind of always, I try to restrain myself in like ideating terrible things to happen to people, because I don't know if you would call it karma, but I just don't feel like putting out that kind of energy is a good thing. So there's like there's a sort of a cognitive dissonance and natural hypocrisy in my stream, which is probably why my streams get the audience they do, because it's like, it's weird that I am at the same time dredging through such trash, and at the same time I'm not trying to be, I would hope people would feel that I'm not trying to be such a dickhead about it, because I try to be nice, even though that seems very hypocritical, or Not hypocritical. There's another word for it that I want to use, but it's not coming to my head. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not hypocritical. It's like, it seems like in conflict, or not facetious. No. Counterintuitive. That might be a better word. Contradictory. Sugar Dust wins. It sounds contradictory to do internet drama and then also try and be nice about it, but that's how I go about it, and I feel it works for me. Pope Urban for 1041 says, even thought of processing foreign or niche credit cards like a Chinese one, UnionPay, and there's a news story to brighten up your day. I have looked into UnionPay. Did not get very far with that. China as a thing, it's not very accessible to foreigners. I would need someone to go 50-50 with me on a Chinese company to do anything in China. I mean, I would love it if, there's a Chinese telecom company that's based out of Washington. I would love it if they picked us up and they supported us and allowed us to host the site and stuff. But as much as people meme about Russia and China being freer countries than the US and the West and stuff, when it comes to like the kiwi farms getting picked up by China, it's not happening. Sorry to say. The news story that he linked me was Russia Duma passes bill banning sex change operations. So this is an interesting website. It's called improvethenews.org, and it has like 2 different takes on this. The pro-Russia narrative: Russia cannot be forced to adhere to the radical anti-family ideology that has infected the West for over the last few years. And the anti-Russia narrative: LGBTQ, AIP plus people, and very acutely trans people are under attack in a horrific way that completely denies their humanity. I love this. That's crazy. What an interesting site. That's improvethenews.org. I've never heard of this before. It might be written by an AI. What it probably does is you take the AI model, you feed it all the positive news stories about it. Like you can run the news story through the AI, determine if it's positive or negative, and then feed the model twice with the positive, negative stories, and then have them write a summary of it. And that's probably what it does. But that's very interesting. Thank you. Based Marketing LLC for 10 says the base advertisement for your fruit orchard has been completed in 19 seconds. Okay. Let's watch it. Let's see what a based advertisement looks like, chat. There's no... Oh, geez. It's going to take a second to load, chat. Downloading at 128 kilobits over copper wires laid down during the Soviet Union. This is a 20-second clip, and it's like halfway done. I'll read the next super chat while this loads. Anonymous for 5 says, my day got ruined after seeing some negress fuck a fire hydrant in public on my timeline. Hopefully Maddie can make me forget that. Well, you just super chatted to make me talk about it, so now you're going to be reminded of seeing a negress fuck a fire hydrant in public on your timeline. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot. Anime for $40 says, Glorious Kiwi Daimo. This may be ancient, but I would like to see you cover the story of Johnny Somali in Japan. I'm curious as to whose side you'd take. For context, Johnny is an Ice Poseidon hanger-on. I believe you have mentioned him on one occasion. I clipped some choice moments they follow. Okay. So he has sent me an additional super chat. However, I will watch this clip before I watch the other clips. There's no such thing as a base advertisement. Unless someone, the only way you could have a base advertisement if it's just like a 15-second ad and it's just the N-word, and then it follows that up by like, I'm Donald Trump and I approve this messages.
I'm Donald Trump and I approve this message.
It would have been funnier if you had like used a Trump voice AI to say the N-word and you put it to dramatic music like all those political advertisements do, and then do the outro. That would have been the more correct way to approach that. I appreciate the effort. A for effort. Then back to Anime for 5. He says has sent me like 8 million different videos. Hopefully they're all very short. This is all the Johnny Somali in Japan clips, I suppose. This better be good.
You know Hiroshima?
No, he's like black.
You know Hiroshima? Nagasaki? You know? Why you do this?
Oh, that's cringe. He's in Japan and harassing. Dude, this is why you can't let. How do I say this correctly for YouTube? So there is a certain demographic of people who, when introduced to the Western concept of public transportation, have an innate conflict between their socioeconomic dispositions and what people riding public transport would prefer to have their experience look like. And this socioeconomic turbulence causes incidents where people who are trying to get to fucking work or school are suddenly fatigued. They are distressed and, moreover, very fatigued with their experience with socioeconomic factors, and it just does not work. It is extremely unpleasant. Everyone knows what the fuck I'm talking about, and even in Japan, you can't escape it. Fucking cringe. The inciting incident, Johnny reminds train goers of their criminal past. Nagasaki and Hiroshima was American. Oh, is he like
Pearl Harbor?
I'm talking about Pearl Harbor. Okay, I got you. Okay, next one. 17 seconds. Punch.
If I go back and
it says punch, but he's like open hand slap. Bam. It's like a karate move, like open palm, dragon fire punch. If this dude's face was like 5 planks of wood, it would be snapped right down the fucking middle. And then there's another one. Johnny gets his clock cleaned by a passerby. This is the same clip. Oh, this is a different clip. Oh my god. Oh, I sneak up on Johnny Samari, right, ninja. Put your bitch in a hair rock. How you wreck that? And then this one, some Zoku people confront Johnny at his residence. Oh, so I think the gangs were like intimidating him because they're unhappy with what he was doing.
So they're asking, are you racist?
Bro, this black guy is shorter than these Asian people. That's a bad. You gotta yeet, my nigga. You gotta get the fuck out of there.
So do they want to fight or talk? Do you speak Japanese? Okay. You guys want to fight or talk? We're talking. Is it talking or fighting?
So they're just here to like talk and I guess try to get clout.
You guys want clout? Why do you think they're shooting off? What do you say? Yo, what are you doing? You're not kidding.
He's trolling you.
We lie.
Wait, what did he say?
What do you say? Yo, what are you doing? You're not kidding.
He's trolling you.
Oh
my god. Dude, Japanese people are fucking crazy. I would not want to get in a fight with one. That shit.
Yo, guys,
This guy is so short, this black guy. How the fuck is that possible?
Bring it in. What? I got a paparazzi. Guys, okay, guys, calm down. What do you want to know? Anybody speak English?
Okay, calm down. Okay.
Why are you naked? Why are you naked? Why are you naked, bro?
It's funny. I would side with the Japanese over that guy who clearly has no respect for their country. He has no respect for their culture. He doesn't seem to like the people there. He doesn't know the language. Like, how could I ever possibly take his side? Like, I would take the side of any people who want to expel someone who has utter fucking contempt for them and lives in their country, regardless of who it is. It could be the British trying to get rid of someone, you know? I don't care. Don't know how I'm supposed to be like, oh, what a base black man going there and harassing people, and, you know, in public. I'm sorry, but when I'm on a train, if I hear music, if I'm being harassed by a socioeconomic factor, my disappointment is immeasurable. My day is ruined. I'm already having a bad day. I can do nothing but empathize with the Japanese. So Driller for 5 says mushroom emoji mushroom. Thank you, Driller for 5. Twinkle Tard for $100 says nice work, quote, taking the high road Kang. Also, in case anyone missed my super chat yesterday, links Sneed today. Let me check this out. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing here. Oh, it's not going to load. It's not going to load on when I go to put into the browser. Okay, hold up. I have an idea. I'm going to download it from the working browser. Or is it also not going to load from that browser too? Try one more time. I'm going to save it. Looks like it's saved. It's downloading now. It is a 10-second clip. However, the person who posted this 10-second clip has somehow managed to make it 12 megabytes in size, which is unacceptable. If you go to fucking cadenlive.org and you render it that way, it will not be 12 fucking megabytes in size. It's a move. It's a MOV. It's a MOV file. Why are you posting MOV files on my fucking site, bro? You're fuck off. Cadenlive.org, easiest piece of shit software to use on the entire planet, completely free, will render your files in a way that's not 1,000 megabits per second.
Let's see, what is this? Hold on.
Big shout out to my nigger Wolf Tone.
Big shout out to my nigga Wolf Tone. I appreciate that. I'll add that in to the 10 spot.
Oh, there you go. You got your Wolf Tone segment for the stream. There was another guy, by the way, who sent in a super chat to Ralph while I was on it, and he said something like, "If you stream me playing a super chat on this stream on the Man of the Internet tomorrow, I'll super chat you as well." I tried to get that clipped, I couldn't find it. It was right around the same time that someone super chatted about Wolftone. Sorry to that guy who put in that request. It was a reasonable request. I failed to meet your expectations, senpai. Thank you, Twinkledart. Dick Sneed for 5 says, it was nice seeing you on YouTube again. Can't wait for the next week's Odyssey stream. True. Thank you. Anonymous for 5 says, hell yeah, brother. Let's get that Ching Chong Jones behind bars before the year ends, or at least make you his quasi. Dude, I would fucking really like that. That's still, I can't wait to talk about that. That's coming though. That's coming one day. David S877 for 10 says, this Sneedcast was brought to you by the letters T, T, and D and the number 41. That's cute. That's a cute way. That's like a Sesame Street reference. Letters T, T, and D and the number 41. I heard it's 50 now, actually. Maybe next stream it'll be 50. Hal for 5 says, hope you're doing well, Josh. It's been an interesting week for sure. Feels like we're going back to 2019, which I am more than okay with, in reference to IBS being live or something. I don't know. Don't hold out hope, but it's possible. There's all these, now that streaming is kind of like off the neck of streamers and people are getting away with more stuff and Rumble's around and people actually use it. It does look good for people eating each other alive for super chat money again. Anonymous for 15 says, Josh, can we get a haha reaction for the forum? And then he puts a frowny face emoji, which is very compelling. Maybe. I feel like we have too many ratings. I have an idea for replacing the rating system on Sneed 4.0, which will never be made ever, because I just don't have any time ever left, and I never will ever again. A free man for 5 says, please read this on your best Andrew Ryan from BioShock voice. I've never played BioShock. How the fuck am I going to read this in Andrew Ryan from BioShock? Oh, is this like the intro guy? Like, I don't know. I can't do it. I am Joshua Moon. I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the Sneed of his post? No, says the admin on Reddit. It violates TOS. No, says the moderator on Discord. Memes don't belong in hashtag general. And then it says continued. Oh, then 4 messages down it continues. A free man for 5 says, no, says the man at Cloudflare. It's an imminent threat to human life. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose Kiwi Farms, a site where the shitposter would not fear the censor, where the racist would not be bound by petty morality. Very nice. Thank you. Maybe pass that through an AI, and it'll sound more compelling than me reading it. Johnny Space Boots for 10 says, seconding the recommendation to play some Disco Elysium on stream. It's a legitimately fascinating setting and story written by an Estonian novelist that touches on government and cultural phenomena. Fits perfectly with your wheelhouse, and I'm certain you'd have a fun time with it. It's been suggested many times. I don't know if I'll ever be able to play a video game for the remainder of my natural life, but perhaps one day I will be able to stream one. Thank you. Dr. Richard FN for 5 says, what are your thoughts on Brittany Venti still the same? Does she still smell 56% in cat shit? Or is she lay-based trad woman for moving to Texas? I don't know where she was living before, but if it was LA, Texas is a better place. I don't know. It's just like Brittany is like anti-trad thought, but like that's still her shtick, or it was. Like she was still like a booby streamer and shit, just like pandering to a different audience. And then she'd announce booby streamers at some point. And she still did that weird little kid voice, and that's something that a lot of female streamers do. I think she protests that that's like her natural voice, but she really talks like this and is like, this is how I really sound for real, guys. I'm like a little girl when I talk. And at the same time, she's doing this voice and she's like making fun of June for doing the same thing and like infantilizing herself. It's like, how do you not notice like the hypocrisy in that statement? I don't know. I've never found Brittany Venti very compelling, but I don't hate her. I just don't find her compelling. I think she has her niche, and I don't think that she's completely upfront with like her niche. A free man for 5 says, no, I already read that. Total Mega Man Death for 5 says, hey Jersh, what made you decide to go to Ralph's stream yesterday? I was surprised Ralph actually talked to you in a friendly manner and was actually coherent. Does Ralph not actually hate you? P.S. Eris's best grill. Thanks. I felt the call of duty. He went live, he was rambling, and then he immediately threw out like an offer for people to join, me being like his first pick. And then of course chat blows up and says like, Josh, do it. I was like, okay, I'm not feeling sleepy yet. I guess I'll stay up to the early morning to talk to Ralph. And so I did. As far as if he hates me, I mean, I'm sure at times he does. You know, he seems to hate me when he talks about me sometimes, but he's very much like I don't know. He's pragmatic when he really, really has to be, and he's willing to make it. Right now, I think Ralph wants to make new friends. He knows that losing the Groypers means that his social circle has been reset to basically Dick Masterson. Dick Masterson is the only person who was around him before Cozy and who is still with him after Cozy. So he's kind of thinking like, well, if I'm going to get rid of the Cozy people, I'm going to have to try and rekindle some bridges with other people. And Josh is doing okay right now. Why not Josh? And I think that's as far as it goes. I'm not a fool. I know what's happening. I think Ralph does like me though, because it really feels like it. I think that even when he hates me, I think he still likes me. A little, probably, maybe a little bit too much sometimes. A free man for 5 says, where the American would not be constrained by the Europort, and with the sneed of your post, Kiwi Farms can become your site as well. Oh, that's a follow-up to the other one. Sorry, I didn't read all 3 because you didn't say continued in the second one. Yeah, it could be your site if you can figure out Tor. Otherwise, maybe not. The Ghost of Ryan Cash for 5 says, who was that one lolcow that had a stupid haircut and had that one video where he yelled at his dad through the door while blaring nu metal? I can't remember his name, and it's killing me. Lolcow, stupid haircut, yelled at his dad through the door while blaring nu metal. I cannot remember his name. I have no idea. Lord Genesis, someone says. Jared Genesis. I have no idea. I don't remember this at all. I'm sorry. I have failed you, my friend. Viking Chanting for 5 says, Sneed, 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 lovely Sneed, wonderful Sneed, lovely Sneed, wonderful Sneed. Thank you, Viking Chanting. I appreciate it. Anonymous for 10 says, you mentioned how beautiful Orland is. Just got back from a trip there. Blarney, the Ring of Kerry, the Cliffs of Moher, the Calmore Abbey are especially gorgeous. The Swifts were there for their summer migration, and they were flying everywhere like little fighter jets. Adorable. Ireland's a beautiful place. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. Truly a remarkable country. It's a shame that it's full of Irish people who love sucking tranny cock, you know? I guess when you get raped by the British that hard, you have no choice. You get like with real rape victims, they just tune out. Kerry Myers killed his wife for 5 says Louisiana streaming parole hearings weekday at 9:30 a.m. EST. Watching prime buck breaking with insane cases. Tomorrow is murder rape day. Lots of weird characters with horrific stories. Angola prison has rodeos where violent inmates are trampled by bulls for their chance to win $100 in prison food. I'm glad that we're just going to turn the justice system into a fucking carnival. Why not? We're going to replace media sensationalist stories about cases into an entire market of non-practicing lawyers reading court documents and making guesses using superstition and tarot card readings to try and figure out who's going to win what, who's going to be convicted of what and acquitted of what, and then we're just going to let prisoners kill each other for Twinkies. And you know what? Fuck it. We're in a dystopia already. We're just in a really shitty, boring, but now gray and soggy cereal milk colored dystopia. I want a violent steampunk utopia where we actually send prisoners to Mars to mine Mars rocks and shit. Let's get on with it. MLA for 448 says Ethan Ralph's master plan going forward, and there is a YouTube link. However, my friend, you did not do the amount of money. However, you have spent rubles. So out there, I'm assuming that you are a poor Slav. You see tanks driving down the streets. You are hiding in a basement in your neighbor's house because the draft is coming for you. And you have managed to steal enough to load your SIM card up with enough rubles to super chat me, to watch your video. And thus, I will watch it. I feel bad. That's 16 seconds. Okay. No skin off me. Okay.
Decided I will no longer be paying taxes. What are they going to do? Tax me more? Go ahead. I won't pay those either. Oh, I'm going to prison. The one paid for by my tax dollars. Sorry, didn't pay him. Now there is no prison. I'm at least 3 steps ahead of the government at all times.
Hey, you know what? In terms of plans, that's not so bad. That makes sense to me. I mean, I personally wouldn't advocate for it, but I can understand why someone would think that way. Thank you. Stay safe, my friend. Roxanne Wolf, my drug. Roxanne Wolf for 10 says, bark, bark. The esteemed furry convention janitor has noted, let Ralph squeal over him for hours, never mentions how cool motorcycles are. I hope this makes sense. I did not watch streams containing Pixona skin tubers. Skin tubers. That's so fucked up. There's something wrong with you fucking anime people. It's true. I forgot to mention motorcycles. I was too tired by the end of it to remember. I apologize. Wagey Exodus for 5 says, hey Josh, I'm broke and unemployed and shouldn't be sending in super chats, but you're a broker. Thanks for the streams. I am not broker. If you are legitimately struggling to make ends meet, please do not send me your money. I appreciate it though. Thank you very much. Amateur Shoelace Tire for 10 says absolutely nothing. Thank you, Amateur Shoelace Tire. Best super chat of the day. New Zealand Risk Analyst for 20 says if payment processors keep the fee on chargebacks so they no longer lose money from it, doesn't that negate the higher risk of chargebacks categorization they use to ban and debank wrong thinkers? No, because it's not they're keeping the fee on chargebacks, they're keeping the fee on refunds. Someone asking for a refund and then you press the refund button on your terminal, not a chargeback. They will still ding you for chargebacks. They still fine you $25 for a chargeback and they keep their fee. Go fuck yourself. Chargebacks are, if you ever want to fuck over a company, file a chargeback. If you give a fuck at all about a company, do not ever file a chargeback. Do everything possible, everything reasonable to obtain your money as a refund. I guarantee you, small business will always issue you a refund, no questions asked, over risking a chargeback. Only big companies don't care about chargebacks. Annan for 20 says, in reference to the Disney segment, you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. And there is a YouTube video, but he has paid the troll toll, so I will see what this is. 4-minute long segment. I gave you 20 seconds.
gang? What's the most diverse, socially aware, and forward-thinking live-action remake we could be doing right now?
What about The Hunchback of Notre Dame? That's got a gypsy and a retard.
Pocahontas? That's about seeing past our differences.
Oh, yeah. Let's have the colonized Native American woman fall in love with that vanilla gorilla, John Smith. Good.
Okay, I get it. So they go with Ariel because she's white. I got you. I understand the clip. This is Mickey's Diversity Games from Flash Kids. I mean, that's true. Pocahontas is a really good. My thing is, like, okay, you want to do a story about black people? Surely, in the history of the Afro-Caribbean, there's got to be like a black pirate or something that you can make a story out of. It's not like, you know, any of the Disney stories are true to history. You can just take a black story that's grisly and make it positive and about romance or some shit. Like, why does it have to be something that already exists ruined? Just don't get it, chat. Rabies the Redneck for 5 says, Elon banned my 5th account and a bunch of mutuals. I hope a Looney Tune. I am not sure if I want to read this. So let me paraphrase what he's saying there. Okay, no. Okay, it's only that one sentence. Elon banned his 5th account and he wishes bad things upon Elon, perpetrated by a person of gender with a firearm. And then he says, thoughts on Donut Operator. He took part in 1/6 witch hunts and supports cops in blue states who take part in gun raids. Obvious fucking fed. I don't know why GunTube likes that faggot. I mean, I don't support cops at all. I just don't. I think that the moment you sign on to be a cop, you sign away part of your soul. And the bigger the city that you're a part of, or the bigger the organization that you're in, the worse that it is. I do not support cops in cities at all. If you are a cop and you work in like Detroit or Minneapolis, you're fucking retarded. And when you get cooked, you deserve it because you fucked up your whole life by signing on. It's not, there's something weird. It's like how the Marines have like their big Marine thing, or like once a Marine, always a Marine. And they're like really big about their legacy, and they know other Marines and they stay in Marine groups their entire life. But at least like Marines get shot at and stuff. Like cops are just like fat assholes that run around and ruin people's lives over petty shit and exert power over like a civilian population that they should be protecting. I fucking hate cops. I hate them so much. Just don't like them. Simple as. Now, Josh for 25 says, is this a good bumper sticker? YouTube.com shorts. Let's see it, my boy. I wonder what bumper sticker this is going to be. It appears to be a misrepresented video. It appears to be an Asian woman cooking a fish in a plastic bag. She's still cooking the fish. She's adding seasonings. Yeah, brother, I don't know. I don't think that makes a very good bumper sticker. Thank you very much, though. Reluctant Sneeder for 5 says, your YouTube emoji spammer badly needs the vomit emoji. Please open a ticket with support data. Dear YouTube, I love the new engagement you've added to YouTube chats. I love seeing my live audience react with emojis in real time. However, I would like you to add the following emojis. Number 1, the vomit emoji. Number 2, the Hindu symbol for peace. Thank you, Joshua. And then they'll probably add it. If I ask really nicely, they'll 100%. They can't say no. Haramburger for 5 says, Saradomin Guthix Armadil Bandos Zamorak. Obviously Zamorak. The new gods, Armadil and Bandos, that's fucking gay. The original 3, you have good, bad, and balance. That makes sense. Who the fuck is Armados? And they're trying to there's 4 different bad gods. It's fucking gay. Just keep it Zammy, keep it based, keep it real, keep it OG. Fuck that. Power Chad over Cock for 5 says, had an employee troon out at a restaurant I used to manage, F to M. They went from decent to awful, also became a foot fetish sex pest. I'm not surprised to hear that this is a common occurrence in other fields as well. TTD is always my red sun pilled brother in Allah. Praise be, amen. Praise be, brother. I agree. Cole for 5 says, saw your legendary reunion with Ralph. Would it be really funny if you and Jim took him up on his offer and instead gaslight him that you three never fought and you made him co-host after and he made you co-host after Gator and Sam left? I don't think that would work unless he was like really fucked up on pills or something. And I think that Jim is probably not in a good position to stream anymore. I think that he's enjoying his retirement. It would be funny. Conceptually, it's a funny thought. Anime for 5 says, I have termed the May pedo defense the Magritte defense, i.e., this is not a child. This is a representation drawing 300,000-year-old vampire. It's a bit of a deep cut reference. You might not get it. It can also be used to defend against accusations of homosexuality. I have no idea what Magritte defense means, but that's not... I mean, that's like a general lolicon defense. The May thing that I was referencing is very specifically how she goes, this is a drawing, not a child. And if you think it is child pornography, even though it looks like a child being molested, that's your mind. And therefore you're sick and you're the pedophile. That's the May defense. And that's also what Boogie said. So I don't know what you want to call that. But fuck him. Galen Amhold, the brother confessor for 25 says, make another silver round, you neighbor. It's not like you have to make it anytime soon. I will maybe, but yeah, once the order of operations is to get the site back up, and then I have I need to find a t-shirt manufacturer. Last time I said this, a couple people sent stuff and I didn't see anything. Like the next shirt design that we're going to run is the 10-year anniversary one that I have a really cool design for. And I just have to find a producer that I trust and that has like a portfolio I can check and stuff. So I'm sorry to the people that sent stuff in, but I wasn't particularly persuaded by what I saw. So I'm still keeping an eye out. But right now I'm busy actually trying to get the site back up, and I can't do them, which sucks because the merchandise run is the fucking income. But if the site's not up, then I can't do the merchandise run because I don't want to put, the payment details of my shit on other servers. So it sucks. Neighbor for 5 says, did Jim actually finger bang Jade on stream? I can't find an archive of it anywhere and it sounds like bullshit. If anyone anyone in chat has it, link it. Thanks. Sorry, I butchered your super chat, but I was thinking, yeah, that did happen. It happened live. It was when Mr. Meta, you have to search Internet Aristocrat, not Mr. Medicare. It happened at the very end of Gamergate. Jim basically said, fuck Gamergate, you guys are faggots. And then in his like goodbye string, he there was like, it wasn't like on camera, it was like on mic, and it was just like sexual noises into a microphone. You're not missing out on much. I'm kind of curious about why you're so curious, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Good luck with that. John Potter for 5 says, I actually meant 50. Sorry, my mush mouth has completely ruined your super chat. John Potter for 5 says, oh wait, actually I meant 50, my bad chat. Holy cow, big dono there. It says total tranny death. What a hot take. One in the chat for TTD. Thank you. Thank you, John Potter. Anonymous for 5 says, stop hating on the 3-6 Mafia nigga. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that's a rap thing. Look, I don't care. Jungle beats all sound the same to me. Sneedowski for 470 says, we have an actual epic track from NC Jarbo to look forward to. Total Gun Victory from the top on down. I would love to see if he could make something that's like Anthony Fuentes, like with the Ralph voice. That'd be pretty great. Rabies the Redneck for 5 says, Redneck voice, New York is suing social media for hosting wrong thing, banning guns and more, going after hate speech, slipping NYC's legal upstate, and bulldozing godly wilderness and farmland for Section 8 housing in rural counties. Nuke the shithole cities. I just want to live like a coyote in the countryside. That's very agreeable. I agree with that. Fuck the cities. Fuck New York especially. Winston Fujimori for 5 says, can only catch a bit live. I'm working, so I'll catch the full replay on Odyssey. I want to say though, the cunny guy is not Jaden's donor, Ultros. It's the guy called UX who Ralph doxed yesterday. The Groypers are trying to frame Ultros as posting that, and Ultros is suing them for defamation. There you go. I don't know the details. I just know that a lot of big tech didn't find it funny, and so did some people in this chat, and that kind of soured me. So I'll see what plays out. I tried to preface it by saying I don't know exactly what's going on. And with America First shit, they always try to make it as murky as possible, so you can't really get a clear story, but fuck them. Forgetful Kiwi for 5 says, help, my kitten, Mr. Mittens, needs money to go through her HRT treatment. She has no disposable income. What should she do? We'll check your answer later to help Mr. Mittens carry her box of gold bars to the other room. Yeah, as if it was gold bars. Nothing that fucking cool. Mr. Mittens would have like a cat box filled with expensive, bedazzled, like jewel encrusted playthings. That's basically what's going on there with Mr. Mittens. He needs to sell that shit. Coley Dante for us says, I noticed your CSS filter for the reaction button is broken again. Wish I could help, but as a Pajit, my uBlock filter never broke. So I have no reason to look at divs again. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that. I'll fix that eventually. Hopefully when my Rust project is done, I won't ever have to think about it again. Band Over for I said, are you excited about the new Metalocalypse and Venture Bros movies? Also, what's the next merch run? Soonish, and yes, I would like to watch those. I was a big fan of both when they were. I especially liked Metalocalypse because it was so over the top, and I was always a big fan of. I can't remember his name, but he had a name that had the acronym COO. It was the lawyer. His name was like Oppenheimer or something. I don't want to say that though. Something like that. He was the lawyer. He was the coolest fucking guy ever. He was so fucking awesome. The best part is when it was like I think it was at the season finale or like the Oftinson, Charles Oftinson. It was like the season finale where the big guy is about to be killed, and the lawyer just shoots him in the fucking head, and he says, "That's my bread and butter you're fucking with." I'm like, yeah, that's the way to be. It's the real. Yeah, you were fucking with. He says that's my bread and butter you're fucking with, and he shoots him. It's based. Weight loss. Rebecca says Ralph says he would be willing to have a redo of the weight loss challenge. He says just reach out to him on Telegram. You better be careful accepting, as they have been taught the ancient art of bulimia by his old master. That's funny. I don't know. Maybe I haven't lost too. I don't think I've lost any weight since the end of the challenge. I've been coasting. I've been stress eating. That's my big thing. I don't have any vices really, except I stress eat. I handle my stress pretty well, but on days where I'm like, I got shit to do, I have problems to solve, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna eat whatever I want. I'm gonna put lots of creamer in my coffee. I'm gonna focus on my work, and I'm gonna enjoy myself while I do it. And in exchange for that, I'm not like a alcoholic. I don't have any serious vices at all. That's it. I'm being bugged about being on stream for too long by someone who wants to help me set up something very important that I have talked about before. Israeli National Professor says, whoa, buddy, I'm Joe Biden's type guy. I wish. That's how you get paid. Lowercase, uppercase, lowercase I internet for 5 says, hello, Jersh. Why isn't the I in Maddie lowercase? So is it the internet or the lowercase I internet? I'm confused. Please clarify. It is the uppercase I internet. Though, despite people's best efforts, it's not lowercase I internet. Though it may be on a lowercase I internet very shortly. The Ghost of George Floyd for $20 says, back in my day, we didn't have electricity. Everything ran on nigawatts. Also, watch this short video, please. Okay. Let's see it. Better not suck. There's a way around this. I remember someone said there was a way around this thing, and I completely forgot what it is. Hold up. Let me try to download it really quick. And if that doesn't work, I guess I'm just fucked. Uville creates an account. No, I will not. Oh, it did work. Okay. Okay, hold up. Imagine having a Google account. Cringe. Cringe. What the fuck is the thing I downloaded? Did I not download it into my videos? I did download it into my videos. What the fuck is it? Sort by name in capital N. Oh, it's just not going to show up. Okay. The power of Arch Linux. You download a file into the directory. You go to the directory to try and find the file that you just downloaded, and it's not there because it hasn't updated the cache yet. Wow. Wow. Okay, fuck it. Sorry, brother. I cannot play your clip because it's age restricted and Arch Linux does not fucking work. Very specifically, I'm using Dolphin as my browser. And it's just it's not updating lists of files. Rice Lover for Rice says, if Twitter died, do you think the world would begin to heal? I do. So I wish it to die all the time. No, people would just go over to fucking Threads and it would still be cancer. And it would be even gayer. Israeli National for 30 says, it was me that said I'd double the donation. Love the stream. Base Israeli National. Supporting the stream. Coming through. Even though I failed him and did not clip the clip that he wanted me to clip. Okay, and the video that you've requested is still not on my fucking thing, so sorry, bro. I apologize. All right, then over to Odyssey. Rickenbacker for 20 says, had a shit day, so the stream cheered me up. Thanks, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad that I have entertained. James Boone for 5 says, Ak Sneayed. There you go. in bad Cyrillic, because he used 2 yeds instead of eyes. I don't know if that's intentional. Dot for 10 says, there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where 5-star days happen, baby. Quote Lennon. I'm pretty sure Lennon said that. That sounds right. Thank you. Variety Channel for 5 says, hey Josh, I recently spent 5 weeks in Iran. It's not the trans capital as reported. The one troon I saw had vendors and the public shaking their heads and laughing. These very educated people were unbelievably kind and helpful to me, a white man. Surprisingly, most weren't Muslims but abided by Taruf etiquette. I do not believe that people in Iran are not going to be Muslim. What else? They're not going to be fucking atheists. I don't know, man. I don't like them. They worship a pedophile. It really sours my opinion of them. It's honestly the best thing that the Bible has going for it, is that the Bible strictly condemns child abuse, and Jesus didn't marry a 9-year-old. And you compare that to any other world religion, and you're just like, yeah, this is the only one that's like, doesn't have a pedophile leading it. Then there are no Rumble messages. That's fine. I did have Rumble chat open just in case for that one guy that always donates on Rumble. The one and only guy who has ever donated on Rumble. Shout out to all the Rumble people. And damn, dude, between Rumble is more popular than Odyssey now. Odyssey has 300 watching. Rumble has 600, and there's 20 or 1800 on or 1900 on YouTube. I should have checked at the height of the stream, but I'm shocked by that. People were really not warming up to Rumble at all when we first started multicasting. And then there are the I want to see. There's like usually 3 people now. It was up to 6, but now it's down to 3 people on Telegram. Shout out to the 3 people on Telegram. For whatever reason, prefer that as their stream service. Okay, so I will check one more time, see I didn't miss anything. That's it. Okay, perfect, wonderful. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. That concludes today's stream. I will be back on Friday, probably. Back on YouTube. This stream will be getting deleted as soon as it's done, so keep that in mind. I will be trying to get it up on Odyssey as quickly as possible. And this will be how it's done from now on, because of how YouTube is. So, okay. Let's see. What I had an outro song. Oh, of course. Actually, I shouldn't hide the stream because I have this picked out. And bye-bye.
Into the town of our Frio rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make the slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town. He came riding from the south side, slowed it up and all around. He's an outlaw, loose and running, came the whisper from each lip. And he's here to do some business with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. In this town there lived an outlaw by the name of Texas Red. Many men had tried to take him, and that many men were dead. He was vicious and a getter, though a youth of 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 in 19 board, 1 in the 19 board. Now the stranger started talking, made it plain to folks around. Was in Arizona Ranger, wouldn't be too long in town. He came here to take an outlaw back alive or maybe dead. And he said it didn't matter, he was after Texas Red, after Texas Red. Wasn't long before the story was relayed to Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry men that tried before were dead. 20 men had tried to take him, 20 men had made a slip. 21 would be the ranger with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. The morning passed so quickly, it was time for them to meet. It was 20 past 11 when they walked out in the street. Folks were watching from windows, everybody held their breath. They knew this handsome ranger was about to meet his death, about to meet his death. There was 40 feet between them when they stopped to make their play. And the swiftness of the ranger is still talked about today. Texas Red had not blurred leather for a bullet fairly ripped, and the ranger's aim was deadly with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was over in a moment and the folks had gathered round. There before them lay the body of the outlaw on the ground. Oh, he might have went on living, but he made one fatal slip when he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. Big iron, big iron. When he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip.